Well, grab a seat, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
D and Davis the Flip.
The Flip.
This is our takes on pop culture, some politics, even though we won't go into that today. Thank you for doing that while I'm talking.
I thought about it. I'm like, wait, I can.
Tony's wheeling chips out, and I can't eat chips in the first place, so I appreciate.
Oh yeah, you are on the keto diet.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
How's that going?
We gotta talk about that a little bit later. Go ahead.
It'd be better if I didn't drink alcohol. I'm in ketosis, but if I am going to totally cut out alcohol for a little bit to get to the highest level, higher levels of ketosis. You got these strips where you can take to see what levels of ketosis.
Levels
you're
to
at.
this.
Levels to this. Ooh.
So I'm gonna. Yeah, I saw that earlier. Anyway, our take on pop culture, politics, music, anything over the sun. Usually not sports, because we do it on Dan Davis's show. That's our sports show that we drop on Wednesdays. But if something breaks, we usually will go over it during this. My name's King of Davis. The next voice you hear is
D. What's going on? It's Damon Spurl. Hey, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at D and Davis Show. Once again, it's at D and Davis Show. iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Music, Stitcher, the TuneIn app, or on Anchor, what kicks you over to Spotify and YouTube. Download, rate, subscribe, share, all the good stuff. You can find our podcast. Facebook.com/D and Davis Show as well. I'm on Twitter at Demons1, DEMONZE1. Ken is on Twitter at That's Davis. Executive producer of D and Davis the Show and D and Davis the Flip. One Mr. Ryan Bukabeski. Ryan's on Twitter at Ryan B. Ski. And Tony Gill is in the house. He's on Twitter at Tony Gill 670.
Literally.
Yes, literally. No Sydney today, but Sydney will be back with us next week.
all right. Echo Smith. Drummer, 20-year-old, apologizes for messaging Travis Barker's 13-year-old daughter. This is Yahoo Entertainment.
Ooh.
And Ryan did a great job on picking out subjects for today. Barker's 13-year-old daughter, Alabama, which is funny. She has a name Alabama. Guess I know where she was conceived at. Shared a since-deleted screenshot on Instagram, a direct message she allegedly received from Graham Sierota, the 20-year-old Echo Smith drummer. The earliest messages include, by the way, I'm Graham from Echo Smith, and I think you're beautiful. Dates back to 2016 when Alabama was 10 years old. A few weeks ago on July, Sierota appeared to invite Alabama to a barbecue. Alabama, an aspiring musician, responded, "You're like 40. Sierota replied, "I just want to say I like your music and sorry for the messaging. I'm 20. So do reinforce I'm not as old as you think. Like, it's not like that, right? Like, this is how off shorty is. Alabama countered, "Okay, but you understand I'm a child."
Well, good for her. Let him know that.
I think her parents was around there like, let this motherfucker know. Alabama shared the screenshot. She tagged Echo Smith and wrote, "Hey guys, so once again, I'm bringing this to your attention because I'm 13-year-old girl and he's 20, 21 or 20 and super creepy. Barker responded, "When I found out a 20-year-old man was trying to get in touch with my 13-year-old daughter by filling her Instagram message with party invites and compliments, I was disgusted."
What?
That predatory behavior, there's nothing cool, normal, okay about it.
This is the thing I think with this kind of stuff. It's moved from off the streets to social media. Because you will find the creepy dudes around the neighborhood. I always found it creepy when the seniors in high school would date the freshmen.
I'm with you.
So creepy.
That's
like, dude, she's 13 years old. You're like 18.
That was a bit much for me.
Like, what are you doing?
That was a bit much for me.
So now you just get it online, and that's where majority of people are online, from dating apps and meeting people and all that stuff. So now the creeps just went from just hollering at girls on the street. "Hey, shawty, hey, what's up? I'm 13. It's all right, I'm just 20. I'm just 21. You creep. Can we cuss on this?
Yes.
Okay, you fucking creep. Dude, what are you doing? The environment had just moved the shifted somewhere else. That's all that is.
I would have beat the shit out of this dude. Because one, this isn't fresh. You've been trying to do this shit for 2 years.
Since she was 10.
And my daughter told you I'm a shorty, and then you reiterated, "Yeah, but I'm closer in your age than what you think." Even though to a 13-year-old, someone who's 20 is like way older. I would have, Travis Barker, you don't want to go to jail or whatever.
Right.
I'm going to one of these festivals where this little motherfucker's at, and he's going to be up there. He plays the drums too. I guess I know I said drummer. But I would have let him sit there and get hot on them drums, hitting that rhythm or whatever, and then just came from the back, cold cock that motherfucker. And just drug, and look, and with something like that, you got to drag him a little bit. You got to drag him with his hands kind of like furling in the air, like stop it, and just let like, dude, don't you ever in your life, not even just my daughter, your little creepy ass, don't you ever in your life try to pull this shit. Because listen, it's funny. This is breaking now. There's going to be probably some young ladies coming out telling us that this dude has been pulling this type of shit for a minute. With them.
Yeah, he's a habitual line.
Yeah, who's a lot less famous. I mean, she told him when she was 10, and dude was like, I love Blink 182. Travis was the man. I'm a drummer. I need to be with his daughter. On some Nicolas Cage type shit.
Wait, hold on. Remember, throughout the beef between Machine Gun Kelly and Eminem said that Machine Gun Kelly was coming at his daughter.
But his daughter been grown for a minute though, right?
Yeah.
And she's like maybe 21 now. It seems as if based on the lyrics, he had been doing this before when she was younger.
Okay.
So I don't know. But it seems as if this is not. But this is my question. I could get to Ryan and Tony on this one. Do we think there's going to be some type of like the breaking of a law, some sense of this? There's no breaking of the law with you soliciting or hollering at a teenager
legally,
online.
How could you point out that he had some nefarious thoughts behind what he was doing? He invited her.
You just gave us the nefarious thoughts right now.
He said, "You're beautiful." Listen, a old man, because we've seen that with Joe Biden. Like,
let me smell your hair.
Yeah, so an older gentleman can simply say, if we're going to come out, this is going to be complaints on some type of PC environment. An older gentleman can say, I was just complimenting her looks. He didn't say, I want to fuck you. He just said, I'm not taking, no.
I know what you're saying.
I'm saying it's wrong, but you're talking about legally. Legally, he can get out of it because what did he do that's illegal? He didn't do anything illegal.
So he ain't say.
He didn't send her any pictures of his, or he didn't send him any pictures of his lower region. He didn't ask for any pictures of her lower region.
He just said you're beautiful.
He didn't say anything that could be taken out of a context that he was making a sexual move to her, and he invited her to something, and he's going to live off of, I told her I liked her music. Only thing he's done is we know what his intent was, but you can't prove his intent.
Yeah, it's. I don't think there's a law that covers, no legal action that can be taken, for him.
Online creeping?
Yeah,
No?
that's. I mean, my question has pedophilia gone up because of social media?
It has to have, because it's so much easier.
I think we're just hearing about it.
No,
It's probably a bit of both.
And why?
Yeah, it's so much easier for you to contact these kids that you had to see before. You don't even have to see them.
Right.
You meet one, you go to their profile and look at who they're following. You can pick off their friends. You can go to like with social media, it allows pedophilia.
So you saying, Tony, in a sense of just allowing your pedophilia to come out and not be known?
No,
I'm just saying.
Or actually contact.
Is it a tool that's used?
Right. The uptick of adults wanting, young people. Underage.
I don't
people.
think that's not what I mean. Their ability to get in contact with them is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So what are you saying?
No, I'm just saying just overall has pedophilia it's something that obviously has been on for as long as people have been around.
Right.
But is it just because we see it a lot more because of social media and because of the news and Twitter, that we have, or is it just as normal as it's ever been? I
think I'm with the first part of it. I think it's just a simple fact that we just know about it. As I always say, people always been crazy. We just find out about it a lot faster now.
But the thing is, what I'm saying is this: people have always been crazy, but those crazy people haven't been able to get in contact with anyone and whoever.
True.
So That's the difference. A guy that has his white van driving around saying, I got candy, he doesn't have to do that and waste gas anymore. He could just simply go on social media and look at little Tatianas. And I'm just saying, like,
now that is illegal to have child pornography, though.
Yeah, but I'm not even saying it's child. I'm just saying that I'm joking when I'm saying Tatiana. The point that I'm making is it's easier to get in contact with kids when you just have to physically either have their number already or physically meet them, when now all you have to do is DM them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little bit of both because, like you're saying, Ken, the atmosphere that we're in the world with social media, it probably is breeding it a little bit because you have that barrier, you have that privacy. Before, back in the day, if you wanted to see children or talk to children, you had to be around children. Now you can just sit at your home and you can see all that you want to see, regardless of what it is, basically. But I also agree with you, D, that it's probably, I mean, now we hear about it. There's so much social media. You have like the Dateline program that like actually catches people through technology and stuff like that. So you probably are hearing about it more because of media, but I'm sure that we're not helping each other at all in our civilization with how we do social media. It's probably creating an environment too.
Yeah.
I don't think people have the science and the law has delved into that enough.
Well, we barely have scratched mental health.
Right. I mean, but one of the first ones I think we should tackle is this one.
Right.
Well, I mean, you can get pop if you have child pornography.
I mean, but we still don't know why that's a thing. Why?
You trying to figure out what makes a pedophile?
Right. Like why R. Kelly goes to this length, knowing that it's illegal, knowing that once you go to prison, what they do to pedophiles in prison, people are still taking that risk.
Are we sure that pedophiles are getting fucked in prison like that?
I don't know.
Or beat up?
People don't live by the same rules they used to.
I mean, do we know what's going on inside jails like that?
I
though?
can find out.
I think it still happens.
Okay, I can find out too. I have a cousin.
While looking up,
it's in one right now. I'm just saying.
Looking for these flip topics, I saw actually a couple stories about that, Ken. I don't think it happens as much, but it's still prominent, I think, somewhat in jails. I don't think...
What topic did you see?
I saw where a pedophile, that criminal, was killed by his cellmate in jail. I don't know if it was necessarily because of the pedophilia,
He's
but
using the pedophilia as his excuse. He just wanted to have a scene.
the Epstein thing, when he was beaten up, too. When
Epstein
he was
got beat up?
Yeah, when he was in
They did
that holding cell.
But he tried to commit suicide too, though.
Well, that's what they were saying. They didn't know if he was beaten up or he tried to commit.
I think he tried to commit suicide.
Or both.
Possibly.
Oh, you beat the brakes off
One
my ass.
question I
I'm
did
gonna
want
hang
to
myself.
ask the group, with this Echo Smith drummer, his bandmates are his brother and his sister.
Whoa.
So how do you kind of keep
So
the
they
band together?
probably know.
That's what I was gonna say. They know.
They know. You see?
Did you see that picture of him?
Yeah.
No.
He's fucked in there.
You see what Trump said about Epstein? It's like, oh yeah, he likes beautiful and like
Young
me.
girls.
But he like them younger. They know. A brother and sister, they know.
They know.
Like, get your creepy ass away from that playground, Johnny.
Man.
Look, Echo Smith got to change his name and get rid of him. They're like, little
Yo, brother,
Serrano.
my brother who?
Exactly.
I don't know that motherfucker.
How do you fix that?
You can't.
It's just in them?
Therapy? Maybe? That's the closest thing.
I think
'Cause, I mean,
you put the electrodes up to his head and his nuts. Crank it.
People, listen, people.
Is it a
Give him a
mental
little more.
illness? Is it something like, hey, stop that?
You still like him?
See, I don't know if you can get. I don't know, man.
I don't get the
Blow his
The psychological aspect
the
of it.
want
That's something
Why to have
psychological.
Why
relations
would
with a
you?
child.
I think that's psychological.
Yeah.
It's just mind-boggling. It's like, why would you want that?
It's crazy too because he's like a famous drummer. It's not like you're just some guy.
He's semi-famous.
What? But still, there's
All right,
a crowd.
even that, right.
He's in his niche. He's a little god. And
He's
there's a
clearly
bunch
think
of
he's
people
more
there.
famous than what he is because he went for Travis Barker's daughter.
Oh yeah, now he's on a
And
different echelon.
He went in worse than Tiger on his grooming tip. He like, oh, you say young. I'm gonna show you young.
Hold my beer.
at my barbecue.
Yeah, hey,
But are children looking more like adults or something now?
That is happening.
Yeah.
That is happening.
the hormones in the food.
I mean,
that's
you-
not an
you
excuse.
two have daughters.
not.
That's not
so-
an excuse. Full disclosure. There's a picture, and this is gonna be wrong and come back in the future to haunt me.
You sure you want to do it?
Yep. Okay. There's a picture of Travis Barker's daughter, and she had on a tube top. I can say that it was an older than her age. That still by no means is an excuse for anyone. And it wasn't like just, oh my goodness. But still, it's no excuse. She's a celebrity's daughter. So it's sometimes she dresses older. But this is my thing. If you see a woman that's young and you're interested in her today, that's a celebrity or something, first thing you do is Google their age.
Yeah.
So for him to even act like he didn't know how old, like he's a drummer. That's Travis Barker. He knows in general around what age the little girl is. And he's still like, what up? Can we go and hang? Like, who the fuck is grown wants to hang out with a 13-year-old? Like seriously.
And it's not like
Sick
some
puppy.
private thing. It's just at a barbecue. Like, what are you gonna
Yeah,
do?
it was gonna get private.
Travel around?
It was gonna get private. He was gonna be like, "Hey, you want to go up to the subway here?"
But
or whatever?
was it going to be a meet and greet at first? Like, hello,
no.
look at my young friend.
This dude had intentions. He
Yes.
had devilish intentions.
Yes, he's filth farm filth,
So-
and he needs to get the electrodes tied to his.
I don't know. I think there should be some type of law. You trying to solicit? It'd be one thing like, oh, you're such a beautiful girl.
You have to define.
and then you got fucking Snoop Dogg, beautiful playing in the
You say
background.
any contact with an underage person that's not your relative
Yeah.
should be.
If you,
What kind of contact?
yeah, or
But
That's the
just
whole
you
thing.
initiate the contact.
by this definition, it's basically any contact.
Oh yeah, he's soliciting.
Yeah, but
That right there, that's
You
soliciting.
can assume, but you can't prove that in the court of law.
I'm assuming,
yeah, you can't prove it.
and I'm proving in the court of law.
That's why you know
Exhibit
what?
A, age 10.
So no, but
DM.
under D's law, any contact with an underage,
I ain't
if
saying
you're
any.
18 and this person is not 18, any contact.
I ain't
with
say
me.
any. I'm just saying because it could be contact as far as like, hey, I could be a personal a coach or
Hey, you want to
something like
hey,
that.
I'm a coach. Do you want to come up to my house? Is that okay?
And you're beautiful.
no, I ain't saying nothing about no house.
You so pretty. You want to come past?
But
my
I'm a
house?
coach.
To me, it's got to be like parent down when it's like that young. Like he was in contact with Travis, and then he knew his daughter, and then
Well, you know
maybe there's something
How about
where it's
this?
allowed or a gray room.
How about this? There should be although this probably won't be able to be enforced, a strict age limit on social media.
People lie.
That's my whole thing. I don't know. Do you have to put in a social security number? Which that definitely nobody wants to do that. But
Yeah,
if
going
it-
to Russia?
Yeah, I know, right? But it had. Which I'm just saying though. I'm trying to think of something that's kind of like that'll make it. But it's just technology is too far out there, and it's gone too far for us to try to reel it in back in a good way in a sense, or like really, really back. So I don't know, man. It's kind of like
Do you guys?
you have to make sure that your kid is not on social media too.
Are you guys going to take precautions? Both of you guys, Ken and Dee, they have daughters. You guys going to take precautions? Do you think about that? You know, as your young girls age, like okay,
Like social media and stuff?
social media, how they dress, stuff like that. Do you guys think about that at all?
I mean, she's not going to dress provocative as a young girl. And even as a teenager, there's going to be a degree to what I'm not going to try to overdo it with her. I get she still has to be young and wants to be attractive. If I think it's too much, it's too much. I'm sure me and her mother have a discussion. Social media wise, like Kenton has a phone and we're going through issues with him having a phone. He basically got at the end of the school year. Like he's already kind of detached from us to a certain degree because actually it's allowed him to stay in touch with his classmates throughout the summer. Which basically he used to be disconnected from them, like it's
How
a
do
regular
you, was just like what WhatsApp?
those video games.
Oh, like video chatting and stuff like that. I mean,
they're
video game
playing
chatting.
video games. Like they call each other, but they're on Roblox. This game called Roblox, and they're all on there playing each other, talking to each other. Right? I listen to some. I check his text messages. It's nothing bad, nefarious going on.
Oh, that's cool.
It's good, but still, I mean, so we kind of watch it, and we're still hard on them because we're like, you didn't have a phone. You don't need to sit there and now think you need it all the time. Like I've been trying with myself to make sure if I'm doing something or if I'm in a group event and at this moment I'm not talking to anybody, not to grab my phone right away because it's like it shouldn't be like that or
Yeah,
whatever.
very true.
So we're on. I'm gonna do it the same way. I'm trying my best not to be sexist towards my daughter because I want her to be able to come and talk to me because even more than her mother, I'm a male and I got more insight into guys than she does to a certain degree.
But black women do need to be protected at all costs.
It's of course.
Of course.
So all women need to be protected. Oh
Yeah.
shit, I'm in trouble.
No, but I understand.
Yeah, so I mean, it's one of those things that I'm concerned with. I'm concerned with both of my children. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things about being a dad in this world. You know, not to say some of this shit can't slip past you because we don't know these apps and we don't know the back doors into some of these fucking apps.
And the biggest thing is who your kids are talking to at school, and they might know what's going on, and they might be opening your kid up to something completely different. So I mean,
Man, y'all got to watch Euphoria, man.
I'm gonna watch it. I mean, but you know what's kind of crazy? I've even got comments about Grace, kind of like, how old is she? About 10? I'm like, no, she's 7. It's like, oh, okay. But Grace is kind of tall, and sometimes they don't exactly know how old my kid is, or like that. So they say like, what's she about 10? I'm like, no, she's 7. Like, oh shit, I'm way off. But thankfully,
Stop putting on all that social media.
no, I don't think I got shit to do with it.
What did they?
What?
Who asked you that in person
No,
or
it was like my coworkers or whatever. Like, oh, how old is she? Where
they see her at?
She was in my office yesterday.
Okay.
I mean, not yesterday, but Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, they see her. She come to the office with her like that. Also, too, she put pictures up on, saying Chanel might put some pictures up on her own Instagram, and saying vice versa. But no, I think it's more so kind of like
You giving them fuckers fucking
What?
ammunition.
Listen. I don't think
Put another one up.
I don't think it's just her that's going to tip over the scale. Like, oh my goodness, it's already out there.
I love when he posts those.
It's already out there. Any fuckers doing that, the fuckers doing that to anybody.
Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you. Watching that show, it's a great show.
Euphoria.
It's made me think about not having kids.
Yeah, I could believe that.
Just because, like, man,
Why would you with you? You were a good kid, so why are you automatically going to your kids won't be good kids?
I think it's
the
fear
world,
that
man.
He lived in this world. He's like he's not like us.
Just because no. But just because he has a kid doesn't mean the kid gonna come out like him.
But the thing that I'm making is
He could be exposed to somebody else and his kid can get turned out.
But chances
We've seen the shit.
I'm not saying that. If they raised him the same way his parents raised him, mostly all of his siblings have done well. Let's just say if Tony has 3 kids, one of them may not be a fuck up. I'm just pointing to the fact that there's better. The numbers say that your kid should be fine. That doesn't mean that your kid can't get influenced and everything. And this is another thing. Just because your kid fucks up and get influenced and goes off track a little bit doesn't mean that you fucked up that.
Oh yeah, that's very true.
But this doesn't mean.
But I'm not shocked by a lot of younger people. You hear that like, man, this world is too fucked up. I don't want to bring no kid into this world.
Been fucked up.
Yes, but I think it's more so go back to my point of now we're just hearing about it a lot more and a lot faster. That has to have an impact on how people view what they want to do and if they want to bring a person into this world. Yeah. I've heard it a lot.
Yeah, no doubt that you got to be involved in your child's life.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
And, you got to teach them and grow them. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, the world's influences are going to take hold.
Yep.
And I guess it's just, it's not. I'm not saying that I don't want to have kids someday, but
it worries you, right?
That's probably the good thing for it. Like it worries me that I, as a parent, or you guys as parents, have to combat these different influences.
Dude, we was laying in the bed today of all the shootings that's going on this past weekend. What basically, almost literally like in one day. And Chanel was like, okay, do we need to have a conversation with Grace about when we go out to public and something happens, what she should do? Do we tell her to wait for us? Do we tell her to run and go hide? We'll come find you. What do we do? As I said before, I have a 7-year-old daughter that now I have to think about if I take her somewhere, where the exits because somebody can come in and start shooting. And Chanel is in the bed getting teary-eyed thinking about this. Like, I can't believe, like, do we rip away her innocence like this? That was the kind of conversations that we're having right now. And it's in I do like to say, like, a majority of these kind of shootings and stuff don't happen typically, like, in black schools and things like that. But she's like, the last one just happened in Walmart. We go to Walmart, not all the time, but we go to Walmart. We go to stores like this. What should we do? How do we now talk to our child about this? They have, like, active school. You have active school shooting drills, whatever like that. I think it would probably predominantly like all schools nowadays. But those are the kind of questions.
They need better plans. They just have them like go into the back of the.
Now, see, Ken and I didn't have to do no active shooting training in school.
Kenton,
they should be trying to leave.
I told Kenton because he was talking about they had one and the little boy took off and ran out the building.
Damn.
Because he was going to the bathroom and they had to go and get him from a block away. I said that.
Do you think it was real?
I said, yeah, they thought. I said, that little motherfucker knew what he was doing. I said, if you're in a classroom, I said, y'all on the first floor. If you're in a classroom and it's a shoot outside, what you gonna do? I said, there's a window right behind y'all. Mm-hmm. Y'all break that motherfucker and you get the fuck out. Like I was telling, like I was like, there's rarely gonna be a shooter outside waiting for you. When that shit first hit, your first. So for instance, we're in Walmart. I mean, usually we're around each other. I'm going to snatch my kid up by the collar and I'm breaking out the back no.
Yeah, you're running. Oh no, you're running. You're running. You're running.
My Insta Black skill. Actually, I didn't get this. I got years and years of natural reaction locked in the back.
Right.
It's like get low and go.
Get low and go. Yeah.
Dude, listen. First of all, I said today, to be honest, I'm not a big proponent of weapons. I'm not against taking weapons away from people. I want an AR just so I can be around when a motherfucker pull this shit. I've never said I want to kill a motherfucker. I want to kill one of these motherfuckers.
But the thing is, down there in Texas, you can just walk around whatever, and people have weapons that was in that Walmart. I think it's easier to say, like, man, if I had this is what I do. People ran away from
All
this
you
dude.
got to do.
They ran away
now
from
I'm talking out the side of my neck.
Go ahead.
You get inside where they got the paper towel aisle or the what's the name aisle.
You kick over the shelf.
No, you knock out the first layer of that shit. Then you get in the back.
You get them. You go. What's the dude? What was Bruce Willis' name in
In Ricochet?
No. What was the movie? He was in a tower. In a tower.
Die Hard?
Die Hard. What's his
John
name?
McClane?
John McClane. You gonna go John McClane on the ass?
Listen, I'm gonna shoot that motherfucker. I may take some for that. That has to be stopped. For that to happen.
Can't nobody did it though.
I know, but see, I wasn't there.
Okay.
I'm listening. I'll tell you right now. If that you be like, Ken, don't do it. If we was walking into Walmart and that shit was like, caca, and I had that motherfucking whoop whopped in the trunk, I'd be like, I'm coming right back.
No, wait a minute.
I'm coming right back.
The dude who saved the children, the Army Reserve guy, he pulled his strap out and he was like, man, y'all don't understand unless y'all been in it. When you hear a gunshot, you been in the military, the first thing you do, you go for your sidearm and you get low, basically.
Yes.
But he was like, I just saw children running around.
And he did
I had to get him.
He did the right thing.
Yeah, he did the right thing. He pulled his strap out, but he didn't do it.
You know, and I know we're kind of diving into another.
I mean, but this is kind of like something you got to talk with your kid about.
Yeah.
It's on topic. It's on point.
If there was any more of a proponent of enhancing the gun laws, is this situation?
Man, they don't care, man.
And
they don't care.
Too much money.
But here's
they
the
don't care.
reason. But
they've actually went to using that. That's what the officials came out with to go away from the white supremacy aspect. They've actually, if you look at it, Trump has come out and been like, this is more of a, they actually went to gun laws to let you know they don't want to address the fact, because remember, we're dealing with this dude is just crazy.
Yeah.
Instead of
as he always say.
Instead of the fact that when it's a white terrorist, homegrown terrorist, we don't sit there because his values and why he's doing the terrorism is much more widely accepted. Yeah. But it's just other people wouldn't engage in the same way. They feel some of his beliefs, but they don't think you should necessarily, quote unquote, go and do that. It's accepted instead of addressing the fact that this propaganda that's been used, this temperature that's been going on, the tenor that's been going on, it's ramped up these motherfuckers because they think it's okay because a motherfucker in the biggest office is talking too spicy. It's too spicy for the White House. And it's not okay that it's spicy. I mean, that he does it. And we act like because a motherfucker says hot takes that you enjoy. Listen, Barack Obama was like, black men don't cheat, and I'm going to give you motherfuckers reparations. I still be like, whoa, brother, slow it down a little bit. I wouldn't be there like, yeah. I mean, in the back of my mind. But if
you have too many people out here
like,
yeah.
Like, brother's got the biggest meat. I'd be like, Barack, you out there wilding the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be like, yeah, because it's shit that I want to hear that is good.
But unfortunately, a lot of people are doing what they do.
We losing our moral compass. There's still
it's gone, man.
No, I'm not saying it's not, but it's still right and wrong, and our ability to accept bullshit because other things that person says in line with how we feel is stupid. Yeah. If you're a Christian, whatever religion you're in, if you're a Muslim, if you're a Jewish person, if you really practice the true laws in your religion,
or be an atheist and just have a good morals.
Exactly. Great point. Yeah. So agnostic, if you're still not being a good person, you're full of shit. Don't come to me later and tell me you're a good person. Because on simple good person shit, if you think it was cool, these Latin motherfucking, I don't care if they're Americans or not, human beings, was getting popped at fucking Walmart. The hangout, the college, that was the fucking hangout spot for a city kid. We got out to the boonies. It was like, damn, it's like this ain't nothing to do at night. Oh,
Walmart.
Listen, after went to school at fucking Atlanta, when she came to fucking Carbondale and I took her to Walmart, she was like, damn. right? That shit was the spot.
It was.
Like, it was so motherfucking Walmart. Like I said, I've never been a person like, yeah, I want to really kill somebody. Man, I would have lit this motherfucker up.
Well, he's gonna get the death penalty. But go ahead.
But here's my thing, and the reason why I say if this is the quintessential situation on why we need better gun laws is because out of all places, this happened in a red state, right?
Two red states.
Where they are super pro guns, right?
Yep.
No
You
one's
guys
more
had
pro-gun than Texas.
You guys had the opportunity, right? There was a person about to take lives, innocent lives, walking into a public space where, in a state where everybody walks around with guns, right?
Mm-hmm. Only issue I have.
Nobody shot back.
Nobody shot back. They were scared.
Nobody. That's my point.
They heard that.
That's my point. Oh shit! Right. They vouched for no. We need our guns and we need all these.
They got scared, man.
And they got scared like a normal human being would.
They got
like
scared.
Any normal human being would. And they're like, no, we still need our guns. We still need our guns. But in a red state where everybody's walking around with guns, nobody did nothing.
I'm with you, but the only issue is if he really wants to do that, he could have gotten illegal weapons. Chicago has had a ban on handguns until what, 3 or 4 years ago?
But look where we at though. We in a perfect spot for illegal guns to get here.
Actually, there's a lot of perfect spots around America as long as people need weapons.
Oh, it's but yeah, you have states. You have states right next to it.
You can get your hands on illegal. I'm not against what you're saying, and I'm just saying that someone that's committed to committing this type of atrocity, getting their hands on illegal weapons wouldn't have stopped them.
I mean, that's why it needs to go to the federal level. It can't be state to state.
I'm with that.
It
cannot
has to be federal.
State to state. Obviously, the state to state approach has not worked.
The dude that had shot up the Garlic Festival got the gun from Nevada and then came back over to California. California has a pretty strict gun laws, if I'm not mistaken. This was one of the first ones to have like the 3 strikes you're out, all that kind of shit. They was really, really strict. But he went to Nevada. Same thing happened in Chicago, right? I'm 10 minutes away from Indiana. Not that far from Wisconsin. You can get shit over from Iowa, not that far.
You gotta go. They can bring the shit over here.
Yeah.
And my thing is like people are worried about big government and, they take all our guns away. They got all. Look, man, if the government wanted to, like,
take all your shit,
they take all
your shit,
run through with tanks and start killing all of its citizens. You don't think they could do that?
They can do
even with your guns.
What Andre 3000 say, man, they made them gas the shit to blow out our back from where they stay at.
I mean, with the missiles that they have in space that they can or bombs that they can drop on its own citizens, you don't think that they would do that anyway?
They wouldn't be able to maintain the government, though.
What?
It wouldn't be the United States government that we know, but could they do it? Yes, they could do it.
That's what I'm saying.
Their excuse is if the government takes our guns away, they have the control over us.
I got the AK-47 to go keep my family safe.
Yeah, all right.
Poof, you're gone.
It's just so dumb. We got to do something about it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Should magic mushrooms be legal? Yahoo News. Ooh. A new group of advocates is following a pot playbook to change laws regarding hallucinogens, specifically magic mushrooms. A small group growing campaign to legalize magic mushrooms has spread and its spores into a handful of spots across the United States in May. Denver became the first city in the country to decriminalize, I think this is psilocybin and active ingredients and hallucinogenics in mushrooms a month later in
Really?
Oakland. That happened like 3 months ago.
The city itself? Just the city, not the state of Colorado, just the city?
It seems like this says Denver, so we have to go with that.
Wow.
Oakland City Council did the same. Supporters of legalizing magic mushrooms point to the evidence that the classification is incorrect on both accounts. Recent research suggests that psilocybins may have been effective treatment for psychological issues such as depression and anxiety. Magic mushrooms also come with a low risk of addiction, study suggests.
I am the proponent of legalizing everything. I've said that a 1,000 times on this show.
I don't care.
I say
I don't care if these mushrooms if it's at a certain age level. This is something. Listen, this is one of those things though.
Gotta watch Euphoria, man.
This is one of those things though. When people talk about like acid and mushrooms, and people talking about using it for psychological issues like depression and anxiety, what people are saying in the medical field is they have to be taken under supervision.
Oh yeah, no
to
doubt.
make sure that the proper dosage can be used, because then you can have a bad trip.
Yeah.
So I'm fine if this is being used for medical purposes. I'm leery of it just letting people go whole. And again, you know how I feel about heroin. It's the 7 scourge. I don't think heroin should be legalized. I think some drugs should be legalized. I think marijuana should have been legalized if alcohol was legalized. With this, I don't like. It's already hard to be out here, motherfuckers tripping balls.
Yeah,
I don't need extra balls tripping in the street.
We had our church meeting yesterday in Waukegan.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's a bunch of kids everywhere. These dudes come up. This dude was slumped in the middle of the park.
In Waukegan?
In Waukegan.
Well, it's happen anywhere.
Slump.
Yeah, no.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying when he said in Waukegan, like they get high in Waukegan.
They do.
I mean, this dude was out of it.
Okay.
Like in the middle of a kid's park. I don't know if they should.
Is that pedophile you was looking
It's
for?
a known kids park or is it a park?
No, it's like a bunch of kid stuff in there.
Okay, because it could just be a park. I'm just saying when you like in a kids park.
It's that
It's a
pedophile.
park.
It's that pedophile, man.
But yeah, man, I don't know if they should.
girls,
do
ooh, got the
A
drugs.
motherfucker can't get high and not he a pedophile if he get high in the park.
He said that he was in the middle of a kid's park.
It's a park. Most parks have swings in them shits.
He said it's predominantly a kid's park.
Man,
How often are you going to walk this park in Waukegan?
I think this is our second time.
Okay, because now you're the authority on
Now he know what's
the
going
uses
on.
for this park.
You are 19 years old.
Wait,
You
was
are.
this for
That's
y'all
what we here,
church or
sir.
for the kids part of the church?
No, this is for our church.
Yeah, okay, so it's not a kids park.
Okay, what happened?
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if they should be legalizing everything.
Man, legalize everything. You know what? This is why I
You
say
think he was
Oh,
taking legal
supervised.
drugs? If he was slumped, you think he was taking legal shit? This gets back to your point on guns. He wasn't taking some shit that was legal. He got his illegal shit and went to the park.
Well, it's illegal now. Like crack's illegal.
But this is
heroin's
this is
illegal.
my thing about legalizing everything. One, I think is definitely a boot on the neck of southern brown countries, because predominantly a lot of these drugs come from southern brown countries. Could you imagine they actually legalize a lot of that shit? Them countries down there would not be third world countries. They'd be pretty prosperous, probably first world countries, right? So I think that's a thumb on the neck.
You really think that'll happen? Are you crazy?
You don't think if you got some pure white or some shit down there, if they can't make that shit legally actually turn into an industry? Wait a minute, you don't think if they can make that to an industry, they won't make money?
Do you know how America works? If that shit was legal, Colombia, we own you. They're not gonna let governments.
That's
are
my
right.
whole point
But
about the
you
shit being
but no,
illegal.
What I'm saying is, they're not. That's not going to be a boon for the people of that place. That's going to be like Iraq in the Middle East for oil, where we're going to sit there and get it as crazy as possible, so we can get control.
So
America's not
you
gonna
saying
let-
we're going to go in and take over those countries?
Hell yeah! Or we're going to make sure that we put someone in charge, a puppet that does what we do.
That's a whole other different story.
But no. It's not going to be beneficial to those countries, is what I'm saying. They're not going to allow these third. First of all, America does not want anybody powerful around them in this.
That's my whole point about the shit not being illegal. These countries are not powerful. If they have the economic numbers behind them and actually like a Canada or some shit like that, you can't go up. We can't go up there like, yeah, we're gonna take over this motherfucking Canada. It's a first world country.
They wouldn't allow it.
That's my whole point about it saying
I'm in
being
America,
illegal.
but either way, it's bad.
a poor country
I'm not arguing.
that's run by
it's
drug
bad
lords.
for that country. Yes, you're correct.
Yeah.
Either way, it's going to be bad because America's not going to allow that country to gain enough might to be a threat to America in this hemisphere.
And I think that's why they keep it. That's why they keep the shit illegal.
This isn't the Wild Wild West of like conquest.
You think they're gonna go down there like, you know what, Colombia, you mine?
Yeah, I don't think
unless you believe that. Unless you think they're gonna go down there like Colombia. Now your shit is called
Mainly-
New Columbia.
Let me give you three. Let me give you three different
mainly
examples.
because like the UN doesn't want, all right, it's free game
Do you
now.
actually know what to do? Motherfuckers, when you read stories now about fucking Native Americans going to the UN and how America blocked them from going to talk. How during the Civil Rights era, motherfuckers, other countries asked the UN to talk about. The UN isn't good, like all really pure and good like
But they're
that.
talking about citizens within the country that keeping their neck, they foot on. We talking about a
And
whole
again-
other country,
again, like, if the UN
South
think about
America, a whole
this.
other continent.
If the UN cared what was going on down there, you think they don't have enough soldiers to go down there? Do you think,
for a drug war?
No, period. And Sudan, look, just any injustice where money isn't there to be gained, where do people step in this world that you see?
Are we trying to
Especially
say-
when we're saying people of a different hue.
Are we trying to say cocaine or any illegal drug that's made in the southern hemisphere
All they got
is not? Wait a minute, hold
All
on.
they got is coke. They don't have heroin. Heroin comes from like the Middle East and shit. They got coke.
Even if it is that, tobacco was really big here in America with cigarettes, right? Could you imagine if they would say, you motherfuckers can't have no tobacco? We gonna shut this shit down. If England was like, y'all can't have this shit, we gonna shut this shit down. We already had a war about the shit to let us be able to do whatever the fuck we want to do. That was called the Revolutionary War. My whole point is, that's one point. Second point is, it's something about with humans when you say that you can't do something, they typically want to do it. I don't know what it is. And the third thing is, fuck it, get that money.
All right, real quick.
Legalize the shit.
If you even think and look at marijuana and how the major beer distributors halt and use their money to stop marijuana becoming legal. But when they got the news that marijuana was coming down the pipeline, they own marijuana now.
Yeah, but this is the point that I'm making. This is the point that I'm. But when we see this, there's a difference when they do that here in America and they have to be somewhat civil to when they do it in these countries where they don't have to. They go in and look, they would go in there and they would fuck their shit up. They're not gonna do. We already fucked a lot of these shit up.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying this as an answer is why I'm pointing out it wouldn't be the end all is what you're saying is all that I'm saying. And look at it like this. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Cuba. Motherfucking Russia ain't about to have that shit over here by us, right?
What?
Fucking Haiti. Wait, they fucking broke from France? Are we gonna keep them in poverty? Fucking dog. Look how we treat. And what's the name? What's Puerto Rico? A Commonwealth. It's a Commonwealth, and we treat them like shit, and they're Americans. Are you paying attention to this country? Just really look. There's nothing good. Even if you look at how they're parsing apart Africa right now for the natural resources.
That's China.
Look at how China's going in there. I'm not just talking, but I'm just saying they're not going in there to benefit and help them.
Oh hell no, they're taking their minerals and shit.
Exactly. So that's only point that I'm making is for that answer. It's not going to be. America would not let South America garner enough strength to where they have to see eye to eye with them.
They would never. I don't think they would ever see eye to eye with us. Canada doesn't even see eye to eye with us.
And the only reason they let them do it.
Why do they let them do it?
Because they're white.
Oh no doubt. But that was my whole point. It's like I definitely think race has something to do with it. A southern hemisphere with a lot of countries that not under the thumb. Now, they won't be equal to America. There's really no other country in this world that is equal to America. All right? Country alone. Nothing, not even a fucking continent is equal to us, right? All right. All I'm trying to say is the economics of it. You probably wouldn't have the economic issues that you have in these countries if those particular products in this industry, if it was actually made legal. Because you know what? The motherfuckers do it because we want to get high. America is Disney World to all the drug dealers. We got to get our merch, we got to get our dope, our product up to America because these motherfuckers want to get high. If you allow this shit to be legal, let motherfuckers get high. No, they would never be on the same playing field with us, but you probably wouldn't have the same issues that you have if it was legal, and we're probably going to see that at least with a little bit within the crime rate here in America with marijuana. Put the shit legal across the country. You won't have. Now, you still have heroin, you still have crack cocaine, you still have grade A, some level 1 substance that's going to be sold illegally. You're going to have other kind of things that's done up under the table, yes. But even that will take down a little bit of the issues, criminal justice, racial issues, policing. A lot of that will be taken down because it's going to be legal.
So, my thing is, so you're saying the government shouldn't worry at all about the health and well-being?
Oh no, you could definitely do that.
Do they though, to begin with?
But you could treat it as a health issue because that's what it is. It's a health issue.
You're gonna open up all these. You're gonna let everybody use drugs, and you've already gotten rid of all the rehab.
Dude, the people who want to take drugs, the people who want to take drugs. Take drugs. Are you going to have a few people that's going to experiment? Yes. But if you want to get high, you can get high.
Legally, the only thing people aren't having gang wars over weed. People aren't shooting at each other over weed. They're
probably not even more. But at one point, the drug trade with marijuana was fucking huge. They still bringing in tons of marijuana.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just talking about violence over marijuana. It's not one of those drug industries where motherfuckers are really at war over.
Not anymore now.
I'm just, dude, they're at war. War came from crack. I'm saying, but when were they warring over marijuana?
Dude, it was warring over fucking booze. They was warring over beer. You don't think there was motherfuckers getting shot over weed?
Not like that. Dog, when you're talking about beer, think about how when it's the ban on beer and the fact that beer was it was so many more people that like beer than like marijuana, and that you took something away from them that was already legal. So
Marijuana was legal. Cannabis was legal.
again, even with that, they put the stamp on it and how they use that with marijuana. It still was never as big as alcohol.
Alcohol.
That's
Yes,
what I'm
yes,
saying.
yes,
And
yes.
also, even when you're saying that, people could grow their own weed. Motherfuckers wasn't growing their own beer. Like everybody wasn't these whiskey moonshining motherfuckers out in the Appalachians and shit like that. Marijuana is not one of those drug war. I'm not saying that no one's ever been shot over, but it's not one of those drug war drugs like that.
No, because it's
But
not. It's not tied to like.
Getting back
Yeah,
to the
drug
legality,
lords,
the
in a
only
sense.
thing that's going to change is it's been decriminalized, which it should have been, but they're going to punish you even more for marijuana going in the future. They're going to.
What do you mean?
They're going to be able to ticket you. They're going to find out how to be able to ticket you smoking and drive.
Oh, yeah, a breathalyzer
so
in a
actually,
sense.
it's still going to be a problem
Yes.
in the legal system.
Yes, no. I think it's going to be treated as if you're driving under the influence right now. That's all it is. That's what they're going to do when because majority of states are going to make it illegal, and then the federal government's going to have no other choice to make it legal. They're going to do it just like marijuana. Oh, you drunk out here driving? Oh, you high? Which they already do anyway. Oh, you under the influence? DUI. Basically, that's all it is. That's all it is.
I mean, those are the repercussions, I guess, no matter what, when you allow drugs to happen. But there's also going to be the taxpayer money. You're going to know where that money's going versus on the illegal market, your money's just going somewhere else.
Right.
And then the money is being spent by the government to try to shut down the illegal markets. So it's really like double down on money that the country doesn't even get to have at all. And then you just have the burdens of the criminal justice system. So I think it would make sense to legalize a lot of things, but there's probably maybe the Class A substances, there would still be some discretion. But when you're talking about stuff that's grown, like naturally, like weed and mushrooms, I think that there should be a legitimate talk about legalizing it to recreation.
I bet you do.
Man, if I feel like this, if cigarettes is legal, make all that shit legal. Cigarettes kill people more than any motherfucker.
So, but the point that you're really making is cigarettes shouldn't be illegal.
No, I think no. If you want to smoke, you can go ahead and smoke. We should treat it as a health issue. But
Cigarettes should be dead. You know how I feel about tobacco.
could you imagine how if they say like, you know what? Cigarettes, tobacco is illegal. Motherfuckers will be getting shot left and right.
And I would hate it too.
Left and right. You got a pack of Newports. How much you want for them motherfuckers? $100? I got you.
It's up the stigma of it.
It'd be worse than jail.
Man.
I could buy your block with a carton.
Yes.
Give me all this shit.
Squares. Man, this country will be fucked
I'm
up.
chopping them shits up to 2/8. There you go. You got a little hit right there.
Give me one of those one-hitters.
Yeah, a for real one hitter. You got filters and no filters. Oh, you got
You
filters?
ever see those people that be picking up?
Motherfuckers ain't gonna want no filter. They gonna want that whole hit. Yo, take that filter off of this shit. I need the whole thing. Right?
I be feeling so bad for people that be walking around looking for
looking up for
the buds.
Yeah,
and I be like,
yeah.
oh man.
It's like a crack looking for a rock.
You get rid of cigarettes
See,
and
I
then
understand that, but cigarettes.
Saying what?
And you don't think they
Man,
looking
Man,
for
you know
rock?
how hard it
You
is
don't
to
think
get
they
off a
looking for
nigga, man?
both? I be thinking they looking for both. I don't think that person gonna be mad if it's a crack rock that they found because they see something little and white. When I see somebody looking on the
People
ground,
dropping crack like that?
Man, do you know how
they
hard?
cops are coming.
You know how hard it is to get off of cigarettes, man? It's fucking hard. Hard.
I mean, if they're going to get rid of cigarettes, what about the unleashing of sugar everywhere in America
Great point.
that they
Yeah,
don't stop
sugar.
at all?
My goodness. It's hitting the dopamine.
I mean, if you're really that concerned about the
the
health of America, why doesn't the FDA step in with, you can't do this much stuff to our food and then sell it to people?
Good point.
Good point.
Ty King names mistress official concubine in ceremony alongside new wife for 3 months.
You said a lot of words there. Wait, what?
Tony, this is history making.
The King of Thailand names his mistress his official concubine in a ceremony with his wife of 3 months right there alongside. The King of Thailand held an odd ceremony Sunday where he named one of his top generals and longtime girlfriend as his official mistress, a role that has not formally been acknowledged since 1921.
19 who?
1921.
Since the absolute monarchy, I believe.
Thailand keep a side piece.
It's going to be official.
King Maha, and I'm going to mispronounce this, Vajiralongkorn.
He's got the nickname after.
Yeah, King Ram X, but I got to do it to try it. Vajiralongkorn, I believe is his name. Also known as King Rama X. Rama X, named his Major General Signet, I can't even pronounce this, the new Royal Noble Consort, the official title for the chief concubine, Royal Central reported. In a televised ceremony, which also fell on Ram's X's 67th birthday, my old man getting, I know his Viagra stock is fat.
Blue Chew.
There you go.
He want the real shit. He awarded. He don't want the shit with the generic vibe. He awarded Signet with 4 medals, sitting alongside Rama X with his wife, or for less than 3 months. Rama X has been married 4 times. He married his first cousin, Princess Som Swalali, in 1977. They had 1 child.
How old is this cat?
He's 67. They later divorced, but but not before he fathered 5 children with Yuvahida, who eventually became his second wife. They married in 94, but divorced 2 years later. And in 2001, Rama X married his third wife, and they had 1 child in 13 years before divorcing in 2014. This is the first time that a Thai king has openly had more than 1 partner since the end of the absolute monarchy in 1932.
This dude should not be getting married.
Yeah,
He already is.
He shouldn't.
He
But
shouldn't be.
He clearly should.
Don't settle down, brother. Brother, just don't settle down.
Yeah, he clearly is saying he doesn't want to be with one person all that amount of time.
See, I was getting clearly I'm the king and I'm going to do what I want to do. I was getting that kind of vibe.
No doubt. No doubt.
Man,
You say what?
No, I was agreeing with Ryan.
What you say? Say it again.
That he has that I'm the king, so I'm just going to kind of do what I want to do. I don't really care how it looks, or I'll get a wife and I'll get a mistress and I'll have whatever I want.
I'll make this shit official.
I mean, he was cheating on his first wife, who was his first cousin, with his second wife, and they had 5 kids.
why would you want?
To bang your second cousin?
First.
He said first cousin.
My bad. That's what I meant.
First cousin.
But
Shorty was
That's-
like, I like it close.
it seems like this is
Keep it in the family.
adding stress to your life.
He a king.
Yeah, he's got everyone doing all the work.
Dude, he a king.
All right.
I mean, what stress, how much, I mean, it is, I'm sure, this ain't like, oh, I'm a king, and then I got is it a president of Thailand?
I mean,
Yeah, they're not the absolute monarchy. It's kind of like, I think,
Like England? Almost?
Where they have the royals, but they probably have only a certain amount of power.
Like the royals have to,
he got a lot of power.
yeah, the royals have to go to the, Jeremy Corbyn, who just became the new,
Prime Minister.
Prime Minister of Great Britain. He had to go to the Queen to be able to be kind of like, all right, can I have a job? And she got to say yay or nay.
They ain't going off of what she say.
Hey, well, listen, I don't know if it's just pageantry or not. But I'm just saying, though.
I mean, like you're right, he don't care about these ladies. He just
No, he don't. He
Well,
just,
on a side note, you could say he does because
How?
he's still setting them up for life. He's marrying them, so legally he has an obligation to them and those children. Compared to if they were
You sure?
mistresses. Yeah, I mean, I'm
you sure about that?
Yeah, but
And I mean, he did create a position for his mistress.
a general.
That is
How
not
you
normal.
dudes are generalizing they side piece.
But you can take that. You can take that position away too. If he's a king and he's banging his first cousin, something tells me he'd be like,
No, that was his
"Get the
first
fuck
wife."
Out of here. I like, get the fuck out of here. You back on the street with you.
Nah,
that or death.
I have that feeling.
I don't.
You don't think you would have killed her if you were like, nah, I'm good, you weirdo.
Yeah.
He probably would have.
Here's the picture too.
Who was the picture of the dude or
That's him, his wife, and the concubine.
damn?
Yeah, it was a very official ceremony.
And she down to his feet too. Look at this shit. And she like, yeah, bitch, you get down there.
People are weird, man.
from what I see-
human beings, man,
are so
human
weird, man.
beings.
From what I see, they have a president in the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. I don't know if that's outside the king's,
No, I bet you everything run through that cat.
because there's
Did you
just
see
one
that?
Vietnam, right?
Did you see that outfit he had on? Dude, he got kiddas in the back.
Come on, that's from Europe. He got it from France.
And I'm just telling you, my man, don't fuck around with that dude. That dude a real dude.
That's my whole point. It's kind of like,
But I'm just
he
saying-
didn't have to get her no official. I mean,
He
if
didn't have to marry them.
that's my whole point. That's the first thing I said.
That's why I'm
Why
saying,
you marrying
I think-
anybody?
But I think it's because for him, it's probably some legitimacy to him having a legitimate relationship. It's something that he values.
But he just want that side.
He's not a side if you the official
Oh, no,
general
that's true,
concubine.
that's true, that's true.
And your wife is there when
It's the
you marry-
official-
and
official side.
The wife in the country is there when you announce the shit. That's nothing hidden
You
about
know,
that.
another thing is he's having kids with like all these women, so you can't just have
He ain't
like,
having no more kids.
no. He's had kids with all his wives.
You think he's-
67?
How old is he?
you
can keep
know
going.
Semen doesn't stop working,
Yeah.
right?
At 67? You can
just
say,
got-
oh yeah,
the
are
whole-
you
Out of your
Tony?
mind?
The whole
You
thing
don't
is
expire.
just getting it out.
Have you heard of Hugh Hefner?
He wouldn't have no kids in his 60s, was it?
Hell yeah! That boy he had, it was his son. Maybe 30 now, maybe 30
He
now.
was like 90 when he died too.
Yeah.
You're right. My uncle passed away. Recently passed away. His daughter, Treasure, is 17.
Real quick, Anna Nicole Smith.
Yeah, that
No,
old
I don't know if
dude.
the old
No, that old man's not his fault.
old man's not
the
his
young,
kid.
the young,
But
younger
dog,
guy was.
You're not a woman. Like women run out of eggs, and then they go through menopause. If they still have eggs, they're gone. You can have a kid at 90 if you can bust.
Yeah.
If you can
with
get it out of
Viagra, you can bust.
If they can swim, you're good.
yeah, you just got to get it there. You got to get it to the promised land.
More you know.
Yeah, that's why I would never get snipped in case I have to repopulate the world.
Demands.
I'm getting snipped. Okay. I'm done.
Screw the world.
I'm done. I had a daughter too. She can go ahead and make some more.
He still ain't got snipped yet.
I'm going to. Don't worry about him.
Well, the apocalypse is
We'll
coming.
be here at 60 when this shit not working. Ain't no reason for me to go down there no more. Man shoots gun in National Park after he claims he saw Bigfoot. CNN. The man said he fired into the darkness after an ape-like monster that had never been proven to exist lunged at him and this couple that CNN told on Wednesday. All right, it's illegal to discharge a firearm in a national park, she said. A park official who was known the identity of the person who alleged firearm. No weapons, no charges have been fired. Madeline Durand and her boyfriend, Brad Jen, who reported the incident to park rangers, said the encounter frightened them. Durand said that she was awakened around 11 p.m. when she heard a noise outside their tent. She assumed other campers were being rowdy and drinking. She woke again up, and after the flashlight shined into their tent. We got out the tent and we saw a man who told us that the campsite had been destroyed by someone or something. The man who was with his young son showed them his gun on his hip and told them the area was popular with Bigfoot sightings. Durand recalled, the couple climbed back into their tent and the man walked away to investigate with his son in tow. We heard them coming back about 10 minutes later. We heard them yelling, "I see it!" She added, we saw the flashlight from his gun, and we saw the flash from his gun, and he shot maybe 20 yards from the side of our tent into pitch black darkness. Durand said she was scared that the gunfire could have struck them. The man with the firearm seemed frightened too. He told the couple his hands were shaking, they recall. The guy said he saw Bigfoot emerge from the brush, and it came towards him, so he shot at it.
Could he have just seen a bear? Where was this at again?
Kentucky.
They have bears down in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Kentucky and Tennessee, definitely.
Question is-
Maybe he just saw a bear.
Maybe he was
Regardless,
Or he was high.
let's say you see a bear. You're just going to open fire right into the night sky?
I know.
Hell
Right?
yeah.
What?
Hell yeah.
Do you
You're
know
just
that you're
firing?
shooting?
Do you say if
Do
a
you
bear-
know? You know it's a bear.
No,
you know
bear
for-
is gone. You aren't being under attack
No,
by a
but you
bear.
just
And
said-
then
you prefaced it. If I saw a bear, would I open up and fire? Yes. He said it lunged at him. Now, if you're telling me the bear is across the way, no, I'm not gonna shoot at a bear that's not trying to attack me. But if you're telling me the bear is close in my vicinity and I got that heat on me,
and the bear is attacking you. It's coming towards you.
do you know the stories of people, the bears just ripping the tent open and cracking open heads?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Bear is
yeah,
a very
yeah,
dangerous
yeah.
animal. You don't want to
So
be
when a
messing
bear-
around with a bear.
When a very
Yeah.
dangerous animal lunges at Davis from the south side.
Yeah, but he
it
wasn't
lunges,
shooting
no
at
doubt.
it when it was
And
lunging.
I'm not giving this dude any cover. It was just to your point. Would I shoot?
But
if a bear,
I'm relating
if
it
a
to the
bear
story
came, would I
that
shoot?
we're talking
Because I
about
think
here.
he's full of shit.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
He's got to be lying.
I saw a Sasquatch.
That's what I'm saying. You see
I
a
mean-
bear come at you. He goes into the dark forest.
I saw the abominable snowman.
He
Turns into
opened-
True Detective with Matthew McConaughey
But
setting
look,
up the scene.
he opened up with his true intent was. He said, "You know, it's a lot of Bigfoot sightings here."
Yeah.
So he was coming to shoot a Bigfoot
Yeah.
regardless.
Bigfoot hunting.
Yeah, he told his son, "We gonna get that motherfucker tonight." And then this is the
If
thing.
we see anything close, son.
See, this is why camping kind of is one of those things that I would love to do, but this turns me off from camping.
You never went camping?
Nope.
You never went camping?
Why?
Never?
Did you go camping?
No.
How many black people?
Wait a minute, I used to go camping all the
What's the
time.
percentage of black people do you think went camping?
Man, dude, my family, my whole entire side of the family used to go all the time.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, quite a bit.
Out of black, so would you say it's 50% of black people went camping?
Hell no. It's not 50% of white people to do.
Okay, so when you're saying that to me, but didn't you say it's a large amount of black people went
I
camping?
think
Especially
more black
urban.
people. I think more black people probably go camping than you probably know of.
I'm just saying that I don't think it's commonplace in black culture to go camping. It's not commonplace in black culture.
It depends on it depends on where you live. We're in Chicago, so it's not like
I
a
said
big place.
urban. I'm sorry, I said urban.
Oh, you saw only in big cities.
Yeah, is it common? It's not common. Most of these kids don't even have dads.
What they got to do anything?
Who's taking
Your mama can't tell you can't.
It's not something that black. I don't know a gang of black women who be like, hell yeah, I take my son. Like it's not something that's true. You know, there's a ton of black women who like to go camping.
I ain't gonna say there's a ton of black women. You keep saying ton.
No, because you made it seem like it was commonplace. I'm just saying it's not commonplace.
I think it's more common than probably what you think.
Okay.
I'm not
Is
saying
it common or is it just people in the South and that's their life?
Tony, you hater.
damn.
No, I'm not hating. No,
people in the
no.
South.
What I'm saying,
I think
that's what they do.
There's a lot more white people that I know.
We're going out to the woods.
My point was this.
Well, the camping has to be more acceptable now, I would think, because it's so cheap compared to all these other types
And
of
also
entertainment.
too, it's not like you roughing it like back in the day with it's a tent. Now
And you don't have to go
camping.
far.
And you go to Starved Rock and go to a whole. It's not camping, but people would say that. But you can go to a hotel or somewhere close and kind of or a cabin or a cabin.
And I don't consider that camping.
Or a cabin.
I did that. I don't consider that camping.
I went to.
No, I agree with
If you told me if I was going on a hike,
I was talking about pitching tents and shit. We pitched tents.
See, my
we
thing
did all
is
that.
this. I don't like the fact that anybody could just walk up to my shit. Like they're out there and Weirdo came by the first time, and then 10 minutes later you hear Weirdo again. My first thought, this motherfucker come back to do this. I knew he had evil intent when he came the first motherfucker talking about some motherfucking Bigfoot. This motherfucker crazy.
Yeah.
So that again, now then Ken got the ham on. Now we both strapped up in the dark of the woods. But I mean, to get to your point, I don't think because camping isn't commonplace to me that if I was in the woods, my natural thought would be I'm shooting into darkness and this bullet travels, it's going to hit someone because I'm thinking I'm out there by myself because I probably wouldn't be out there if I didn't think I was out there by myself. So yeah, I would let that motherfucking heat ride.
See, I would not. I would
Those
think
tents
that
are
there
getting
are a
Swiss cheese.
lot of other campers around.
Yeah,
Well,
I wouldn't do
and
that.
that's-
One stray
guess
bullet.
what? That's why you keep us out of there.
But we need to stop Bigfoot. He's a menace running around the country.
Look, I can prove to you that black people don't go camping that often. Because if we went camping a lot, they would have found Bigfoot 50, 40 fucking years ago. We would have caught that. That motherfucker would be fucking in someone.
Don't get me started on
But wait a minute.
That Bigfoot would be on somebody's back.
But
If-
this
if-
is
Like, oh, is that pure Bigfoot you got? Like that.
if black people, as many black people you think goes camping, I think the gun laws would have been dealt with a long time
Great
ago.
point.
why.
Because they would.
Because there'd be more black people
we
with
gotta
guns.
stop this shit.
You ain't gotta go camping with a gun.
They got.
Where the hell do y'all think y'all going? Naked and afraid? What
You
the fuck
go.
y'all
You
doing?
go camping without a gun?
Yes, I've been camping without a gun,
That's
dude.
foolishness.
What are you doing? What are you talking about?
That's foolish. That shit worse than
Where do
being.
you think
that
people are
shit
going
worse than
camping
being-
in the fucking Smoky Mountains?
I'm just saying, dude.
Dude, we're in Chicago.
Did
It's
you
not
have a
that much
knife
shit.
with your long knives?
No.
See.
The one thing you have to worry about is like fucking raccoons.
Did you bring a machete?
You out here.
Dude, you have
on
to-
top of this, you slipping.
Raccoons and deer is the only thing you have to worry about. Raccoons and deer.
No, you got crazy motherfucking dudes walking around with their sons in tow.
That shit's true.
Okay then.
We gotta worry about that shit is walking down the fucking street.
Not when I'm laying on my back on the fucking ground with this thin piece of material covering me, and I put myself in a situation.
Only thing you have to worry about, at least here in Illinois, because there's no bears really in Illinois, is raccoons and deers. Maybe a possum. That's really about it. It's snakes.
I'm not worried about.
That's what you gotta worry about.
I'm not.
Here, that's what you gotta worry
Yeah,
about.
I'm
not really even
worried.
snakes.
I'm not here for any of it.
I'm not worried about bears getting me in Illinois. I'm worried about other motherfuckers coming up to my shit while I'm sleeping, and now I don't have a door and walls between us. I got this piece of sheet.
Oh, you scared? That's all. That's all
I ain't
right.
scared. I would have my heat.
I got a question for the group.
Yes.
How stupid is the Bigfoot thing to you guys?
Oh, beyond
It's,
stupid.
Is it like at the top
That's
of
not-
the
that's not a
stupidest
black people
conspiracy?
I mean, the fact that it would
people
never been
thing.
you don't have any type of found body.
Well, even like their main evidence is all fake.
Yeah, but
It's probably a bear sighting. Somebody saw years ago. It's like, oh my God, what is that? Probably somebody that wasn't here, not a Native American, not someone of the culture,
What would it
and
be
they saw some
hiding?
shit like, what the fuck is that? And they was
Area
probably
51?
scared. Oh, some alien type shit? Oh, I believe in aliens.
Oh, there's
One.
theories, Tony.
I believe
there's
in
theories
aliens.
that can
Number
shape
one.
shit.
I don't know if anything
It can change.
I don't know about that, but I
The
do.
biggest waste of time.
I do believe in aliens.
People dedicate their lives to Bigfoot.
in aliens.
I don't believe in aliens.
You don't believe in aliens?
And his religion's against
The fuck they got to do with anything, man? You got a brain.
It wouldn't be God. Wouldn't be God.
Tony, please don't tell me you don't believe in aliens.
I don't believe in aliens.
You don't believe in aliens.
You think this universe?
You think it's just us?
You think we're the only sentient being in
I
this
think
universe?
God puts a premium on the human being.
I told you.
Tony,
But he would only do it to you. He would only do it to Earth, right?
dude.
You're saying that. So even if there was a God, you're saying God is so selfish, he would be like, I can only put this shit on
There is
one.
a God, and
Yes, okay.
he made us in his likeness and his image.
But he can
and
only
put
choose
us
this
to
planet?
rule over all.
But there's more.
of the animals, and the
Bacteria,
plants, and to cultivate
bacteria
and
is a
whatnot.
living organism.
Yeah, it's a living organism.
Motherfucker, that means it's alive. That's an alien. It's not of Earth.
What do you mean? It's of Earth. It's in the atmosphere.
It's not of
He
Earth.
meant on another planet.
On another planet.
Oh, well.
That means it's alien.
But if it's bacteria and if it's a living organism, how is that foreign to us if we can recognize it?
Dude,
No, but the
you
whole
don't-
thing
Wait, y'all
is
don't
it's
study-
not here on Earth.
Oh my God.
That would make it an alien,
Creationism type shit.
extraterrestrial.
You know, there's actually been other organisms on other planets that we already know of, right?
Okay, that's fine. But I'm talking about thoughtful,
But if
that
you-
can
let me ask you
communicate,
this. If-
that can help,
Tony,
that
mathematically,
can
Tony,
destroy. That,
mathematically. If
Creatures like us.
If there could happen that there's organisms, and we already know, and this is things too about human beings thinking about us, we look for those type of honeycomb places that have an atmosphere that's similar to us when we get out there. We've already found the Goldilocks type shit. We've already found those.
Water.
But the thing is this. There's clearly probably could be aliens that don't exist off, like we have creatures in the ocean that live off of sulfur. Like, and we're like, damn, we didn't even know motherfuckers was down there living off that type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly there are aliens that could be living off of something totally different from us that don't go off, that live off of plant photosynthesis and things like that.
This is the Milky Way.
Yeah, but even to me,
This is a universe.
This is the problem with religion. You're letting religion disprove this kind of fact.
Damn, Garcia.
The universe is too vast that we're the only ones in it. Why can't religion aid that and also be that God? Like, why? This
I
thing.
mean, well, first of all, I don't really care. You know,
But
like
you do care because you said it didn't happen. That's a lie. Because you wouldn't be like, that shit didn't happen if you didn't care.
Why don't you care?
But you guys asked me a question. I answered the question.
You care.
I don't care.
You don't want to
about it.
continue to talk about it because
I don't want to talk. I'm like, you saying all this stuff. I'm like, bro, I do not care.
He's talking
bro.
about because we talking about it.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't care.
But
Like,
well, we're talking about it. Why couldn't? Why we're talking? Why can't we get this into conversation?
okay.
Let's end it. But why couldn't a loving God be loving to other creatures? Why is he selfish?
Selfish because
He
what,
has this
for
power.
This planet?
Yeah. Why is he selfish?
I don't know.
Why
I don't know everything.
But
I just think.
What? No.
But you also
I don't
understand
know everything.
that with religion
But-
and human beings, there's a selfishness. And the only thing I'm trying to ask you is, man always wants to. Everyone wants to feel special to their one's own self. Even in spirituality, I don't understand why we have to look at something like that as a negative, and why it would disprove religion if there were beings on another planet. I think when people think
I'm going to agree with you until I can't agree with you. If there's something out there, fine.
would it affect what you feel?
No.
So that's why I think that's why I don't think we. I like one thing when I love the fact that the Catholic school that I grew up in, where I went to as a senior, especially my senior year, we got evolution, and it was even in a way that the 7-day thing probably isn't 7 days because, and how they tried to explain, I'm sure they're trying to skirt, but it was like, how do you know what a day is in the life of God? A day in the life of God could be an eon, but we're sitting there framing it in a way that we can frame it. And it's like, you can still apply. I mean, a lot of people back in the days in the Vatican were the people that was looking for a lot of this scientific stuff. I think when we don't use science and still think that it's okay to have spirituality, this issue. All right. The newly released Game of Thrones scripts revealed why Drogon was torched the Iron Throne, Yahoo Entertainment. The reason why Drogon, the dragon, destroyed the Iron Throne in the last episode of Game of Thrones was finally revealed. And contrary to what some people suggested after the broadcast earlier this year, it wasn't some form of symbolic response to Jon Snow killing Daenerys Targaryen. It was actually a mistake. I'm about to tell you why I'm getting tired of this. Thank you. Wait, we're going to get to this.
Man.
The setting and the fiery scene in the script reads, we looked over Jon's shoulder. And as the fire swept towards the throne, not to target Drogon's wrath, just a dumb bystander caught up in the conflagration. So what they're saying is the throne was just a bystander. We see the throne in flames, turning red, then white, then beginning to lose its form. We get tight shots on the detail melting into the silhouette, the armrest, the iconic fan of the swords and the backrest. The fire stops. The smoke clears, revealing a puddle of smoldering slag where the throne once stood. Who will sit on the Iron Throne? No one. So the throne was just a dumb bystander caught up in a conflagration and not the true target of Drogon's wrath.
So
He's making it worse.
Wait a minute. So y'all said this about Endgame. Like, what was it about Captain America?
I was about to say the same shit. Just
Captain America talking about, saying he actually those his kids with Peggy Carter.
And we know that's a lie.
Dude, you just digging the hole even deeper.
Just listen. I get tired.
Just stop.
You know what I think? I think
Just
these
stop.
motherfuckers are taking advantage of the fact that they super rich off this shit, and to a certain degree, it's like, dude, stop taking that shit so serious. I'm just out here getting this bread because they like to fuck with us after the scene and be like, man, Drogon just did that shit to do that shit. And it's like you didn't spend all that time doing that shit like that. And this
All that CGI money.
Yeah, stop it.
All that CGI money.
All that CGI money, you did that to be like, oh man, that shit got caught in the way. He could have looked up and just blew that shit in the sky.
He could have just turned away and just flew away.
Off, right? Like, stop.
Damn.
Stop.
Wing,
That shit like,
fly away,
you
fly
mad at
away.
me? You mad at me, motherfucker? Oh, I'm gonna throw this shit at your ass too.
But they could be doing it kind of like spiteful, kind of like it's.
That's what I'm saying. They trolling.
Totally
you.
is spite.
They
I think-
trolling the fuck out.
Troll.
I think
Thank you.
they're trying to make it
Okay.
like, I don't know what they're trying to do.
Exactly.
I don't know what they're trying to do.
So I don't even know why
Are they
you trying to explain that shit.
are they trying to save face?
How?
How did
It
HBO
makes
read
it
those
worse.
scripts and
But
be
this is-
like, this is good?
The reason why I say trying to save face, okay, they didn't show up for Comic-Con. They were supposed to be there. The two
He's
writers.
gonna get hit.
Yep.
Ooh, I ain't even
Nobody
gonna
else
go
would
that
have
far.
faced
No, I
the
don't mean
question.
hit physically.
Oh.
I meant that it was going to be all negative.
There would have been one question for anybody else. It would have been all for them.
It wouldn't have went
Okay.
well.
I thought you said
So why?
hit like
no,
damn, somebody putting a hit out.
It wouldn't have went well. So they're like,
just
why go to a
dragons.
total negative Comic-Con?
But they have other projects in the works. I believe they're supposed to be doing a Star Wars, right?
Yeah, they're doing Star Wars.
So
They still
they're
got
trying to save face, like, hey, y'all, listen, this is what happened because you know what? We're also doing this other iconic franchise called Star Wars. We want you to still come to this because, listen, when their names are plastered on that Star Wars, if they're written or directed, whatever the case may be, people are going in with a very skeptical eye. Like, I don't know if I want to see this shit because look what you did with Game of Thrones.
It's still gonna go. And I don't think they're doing this to help Star Wars because this doesn't help. This shit is basically this is them. This let us know what these motherfuckers are fucked up.
I need to try and save some face.
Because this doesn't say you doing something that made more sense when you did it, and now being like, we ain't even mean that shit. Like,
But what sense was it when he did it?
Because we were saying that Drogon, everyone thought Drogon was basically. Remember all them memes where Drogon was like, I'm breaking down the systematic type of, and it was like they were talking about like Drogon talking. It's like I'm breaking down the systematic rule of all this shit. It's never happening. And, like it was like, and that's what people took it as Drogon being like, this is over. They wouldn't for what she died to do. It shouldn't be there anymore. Basically, like this should be gone. And just like
Now it turns out it was just some dumb animal.
It's a dragon.
so
Yeah.
dumb, he picked up and knew to take her back to Valeria. Where
Right.
the fuck he took her.
Right.
Oh, that was another part of the story. He took her back to her homeland.
So she can be buried where she's supposed to be. These dudes, man. And also so he could fuck her. Carmelo Anthony was recently on First Take with Stephen A. Smith. He was on there for an hour. It was just the two of them. I said that to me, it was some of that. It reminded me of him trying to lie to get out of being in trouble. So to me, I took it as like if you've ever had a situation, a relationship where you did something you're not supposed to, and the person is going through the litany of things you did, and they name something that you actually didn't do, and you like, I didn't do that. And it's because it's semantics, where it's like, you was across the street, and it was like, I didn't go across the street now. When you saying it was across the street, I didn't do that, right? You hold on to that part of it. It reminded me of that. I felt that there was double talk in it. I felt like he still wasn't being accountable as he thought he was being, as forthcoming as he was. He talked a lot about how hard it was for him to come off the bench. And I get delusions of grandeur, and by no means am I saying that Carmelo wasn't one of the greater scorers in the NBA. He's in scoring in the NBA. I would put him easily, and this may sound like it's big. I would put him easily because I don't feel like debating in the top 30, and I'm saying that's over the great elite scorers over the last 40 years in the NBA.
Is good.
I think the last 30. If somebody said he was in their 20, I could argue and debate, but that's cool if you said he was in your 20. But to me, for him to still be like, well, it was hard for me to come off the bench. And it's like, after what happened with you in OKC, even in OKC, and sometimes with Melo, for you to rock the way you need to rock, and I know that starting really means something to a certain degree, you should have been a 6-man anyway because you need second-team shots in the first place with the type of isolation ball that you play.
That ego thing. Know, he actually copped to that, though.
But for him to say, basically, I finally got through to it. It's like, dude, man, you're supposed to have been through that shit already. You're supposed to have a discussion. If LeBron and them been talking to you and you still haven't had it, or they not being as forthcoming friends to let you know what the real is in that type of situation. And then the last thing, he pointed out that D'Antoni, he doesn't feel like D'Antoni backstabbed him. He said he feel like it's Daryl Morey, the general manager of the Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
They asked him because if usually star players are going to be told if a player like him is going to be released. Did he feel like Chris Paul knew? Did he feel like the superstar
James Harden?
Did James Harden know? He said that he doesn't feel like that, and he wasn't going to cast any dispersions. He said as far as Chris Paul that he came to his hotel that room that night and looked him in the eyes and told him he didn't. It was from the heart. So in the way he said Chris Paul, I know he didn't. And I liked how he wasn't.
But he don't know James
as a man
like
that
though.
Cheats. He was following the laws. He was following the law because he wasn't throwing people under the bus.
Let me see how he said because I said that the la.
He didn't even though he said, because if you're going to point out that Chris Paul took time out to come talk to you, but James Harden did, you are slightly casting aspersion on James Harden.
CP3 is the president of the union, so maybe that has maybe a little extra something to why he had to come talk to him.
Last part. Ramona Shelburne was on the jump that day, and she pointed out, she said, star players are going to know if that's going to happen. No general manager is going to get rid of a player who's as close and as known as Melo without telling the star players. And then I forgot who was on there. I think Sedano was on there, and George Sedano, and somebody was like, yeah, but he said Chris Paul came and looked him in the eyes, and she was like, And Ramona, remember, is stationed in California. And we all know Chris Paul.
Oh, Chris Paul in the Clippers situation.
Yeah, Chris Paul got that shady history. And people be like, Chris Paul gonna do whatever the fuck he wants to do, basically. And she gave that look. If you watch it,
I am the president.
She's like, I'm not gonna say anything because I don't know. But she's like, she was like, he bullshit like this, turned the motherfucker one thing and did something totally motherfucking different on the other side of it. So for me, like, it would be cool in a way. Like, I don't want Melo to be on the Bulls because I feel like what the Bulls need to do,
we definitely got to talk about that too.
It wouldn't work. But I started to think, what team could he go to? And it's funny because he was like, either I just want to play, or first he was like, I want to win a title, which that's not totally what you want to do. You want to be like Vince Carter, but you would like to do it on a championship team. So he first tried to say that, but then alluded to the fact, you know what, I just want to play also. I hope, and I feel like he'll be back in the NBA. The NBA. But I mean, like, where does he fit?
I don't think
he's gonna get back in the NBA at all.
I don't think he's gonna be back in the NBA.
I don't think he's getting back in the
NBA. I think he's done.
Like, there's got to be a shelf limit to when he can come back.
The point you just asked, the question you just asked, where is he going to fit? I do think in some sense there is a slight tinges of a black ball, maybe a light black ball. Maybe it's kind of like, okay, dude. And more in the sense of just talent. It's kind of like, man, the game has passed you by. It didn't work out here. It didn't work out there. Daryl Morey is looked at as probably, Tony, please correct me because you cover the NBA for the Score. For the Chicago Bulls for the Score. Definitely. He's probably looked at one of the most high-regarded general managers in the entire league. And if the story is true that he came to you and said, like, dude, basically, you ain't got it no more. We gave you 10 games to try to see what was going on. You just don't have it, and I'm letting you go. I'm sure other general managers in the league is going to probably be like, okay, down in that kind of system, you can't fit that, and you're a top scorer, as Ken said, probably a top 30 scorer, and you can't fit in that system. It's basically run and gun. No, I think he's done.
See, my thing with Melo is the self-awareness is just not there with him as you would like it. And that was my problem. I used to be a big Carmelo fan. early
Yeah,
on.
why not? He's a great
Because
player.
Early on, Melo was the winner guy. In that 03 draft, I thought LeBron was the most talented, but Melo was the winner.
We saw him win.
We saw him win in high school. We saw him
Carried
win
that
in college.
Syracuse team.
He was the first one out of that group to go to the playoffs.
Yep.
I mean, I thought Melo was going to be
Yeah.
the winner guy. And then it turns out Melo was not really a winner guy.
What was he? What kind of guy
it's-
was he, Tony?
If you the amount of years that he's put in, and no disrespect, he's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the greatest scorers ever. But again, self-awareness of where he is. He never was a leader like LeBron and Wade. Never was that guy. Always passed that off to a veteran.
Chauncey.
Or another
You see what
player.
Chauncey said about him?
Yeah, I mean, it after a while, like Ken said, after a while, you got to look at you. You got to see what am I doing wrong. It can't just be everybody's doing Melo wrong. Why would somebody want to do one of the game's most well-known players in the NBA
Prolific scorer.
wrong? Like where nobody wants him on their roster, and he says, "Well, I did what they told me to do, but did you though?" But you did it by your actions. But how was your body language when they told you that? And the rest of the team, what were you saying on the side? What were those side comments that was affecting the team? Like, yeah, you can do something by your actions, but did you believe in it?
Did you believe in him when he said that he went to Moray or he went and he was at OKC? Like, listen, let me know what I need to do and I'll do it. Tony, did you believe it when he said that?
Partly. I mean, here's an example. When he got to OKC, right, and the reporter asked, was it brought up, about you ever coming off the bench and how he responded to that? That was only a year before the Houston thing. So
Yeah.
Melo has this idea, I think, of how he wants things to play out when everybody else seems to be like, no, Melo. Like, who? If Melo was as good as he thinks he is, you don't think people would want him on their roster?
I think it's that self-awareness thing you're talking about. Well, the reason why he's not getting picked up on an NBA roster is he has a specific set of physical skills that he does, and does that fit your program? Because he's not going to give you anything leadership. He's not going to give you that pro veteran. He's not going to help make younger guys better. So if he doesn't create any of that other stuff as an older veteran, what value does
You
he
don't need
bring?
him.
What does he give you?
Yeah,
Because all the ball is going to
it
just
took Wade
stop
a
there.
little bit. It took Wade, but Wade got humbled when he left the Bulls and went to Cleveland, and his role in Cleveland was, and then he had to go back to Miami. Wade got humbled, and he came off the bench that final year in Miami, and he was cool with it.
And even before then, Wade was humbled by recruiting LeBron James and Chris Bosh. Like, did Melo
I'm
even
not the guy
try
anymore.
to become a part of a great team? Because even he said on that first take, I didn't have the pieces around me. Well, part of that is
It's on you, yeah.
Also, too, he was looking at, as he said, too, man, I'm a kid from Baltimore. And this part, I kind of understand where he's coming from. I'm a kid from Baltimore, and I see this money, 2 extra years with this X amount $1 million on it. I'm not leaving that money on the table. Now, he was young, and he said it himself, I didn't understand the business of the NBA then. Because after I signed that contract, true, but this
Your
whole
Olympic
thing,
teammate.
but this whole thing, they did talk to him, but he didn't understand it. He was like, I didn't get it then. Until after I'm trying to see this vet leave, this guy leave, and then it's like, oh man, the ship is sinking. I best be off of this
I'm
thing.
calling bullshit on that one.
What you got?
Because when he said he didn't know the business, well, when did you start to understand the business? Because if we say he didn't start to understand the business until when he thought about coming to Chicago, then he was dumb than a motherfucker.
Yeah.
When he got traded from the Denver Nuggets to the New York Knicks, all he had to do was wait to the end of the season and go to the Knicks and leave that team the same way it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he
He
cared.
didn't have to sign that extension.
Yeah, so
No.
when Dolan forced Walsh to move all those players that Walsh had gotten with Walsh and Isaiah Thomas to the Knicks that had some value.
And that was a pretty all right Knicks
Yes,
team.
especially
It was.
when you, and
It
then
was.
you add a legit score
Score
that
to a team.
Everyone knew that.
But he had to
Because
get out of
Melo
Denver.
was like,
He had to
man,
get out of Denver.
you better move me now. And we're still worried about Melo's money. The same thing when he was like, hey, listen, fuck all that, and we get to the Bulls point. So in that interview, Melo alludes because they asked him, and he was like, yeah, it hit me with the Bulls, but when I went to the Bulls, I was going to sign, I was down, which is bullshit. That deal was $75 million less. He been dumb to sign it. motherfucking, and especially when we usually say this, if a player signs a deal and he loses money from leaving the team that has his bird rights, usually through opt-outs, he can recoup some of that money. Melo was hurt the year after he signed that Bulls contract. He was never recouped. The best thing he did, one, because the Bulls...
That Knicks contract.
Huh?
The Knicks contract.
Yeah, the Knicks contract. The best thing he did was get his money from the Knicks because his body was going to betray him, and the Bulls were breaking up. But he alluded that he heard
that they were going
to break the Bulls up.
Yeah.
And again, I wonder. This is my thought when I was like, he heard it. Did he hear it from the Bulls players like Joakim Noah?
He said he heard it from players.
But see, this is the thing though. When people have trade discussions, they don't necessarily have to start that season. Phil Jackson was in control of the Knicks. Who did Phil Jackson trade for and sign from the Bulls? He signed Joakim Noah and he traded for Derrick Rose. How do we even know Phil isn't there like, hey, these motherfuckers is shopping them, just so you know. I ain't even trying to hate on you or nothing. I just want you to, you know what you lying.
Yeah, I got an inside scoop because I was once there.
Just so you know, if you gonna do that, that team ain't gonna be what it is because they offered me D Rose.
And you know they had their eye on Fred for a while.
Okay.
So that probably went.
And this was Thibs, second to last year?
You know how the Bulls, the front office operate. Hey, you don't got to listen to Tom or whatever head coach.
That's what messed up the defense.
Yeah.
As soon as they said Tom's out, because they thought Fred, who wasn't a defensive coach, was going to rekindle the defense or everyone on the string. As soon as they was like Tibbs is dead man walking, every player on the string was done. Dude was like, I ain't doing that shit no more.
Yeah, I mean, what Melo didn't realize was, yeah, you can grab this money from this NBA team, but the winning will allow you to get money on the back end of your career and outside of the NBA.
Exactly.
The winning, LeBron said this, and it's something that I personally keep with me. He's to keep the main thing the main thing.
Yep.
And Carmelo didn't keep the main thing the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think he did. I see. This is my thing.
He got paid now.
Well, his main thing was the money, but the main thing should have been the basketball.
He got paid, yeah. He did get paid.
His main thing was the money.
He got paid.
He did what he was supposed to do for him.
Yeah.
He just didn't want the ride to end. Mm-hmm. He thought he was still going to be able to collect checks and move around and also star. But his real problem isn't the winning, because Carmelo could have forced his way. Anybody that re-signs with the Knicks and he's sitting there, and this is another lie. Man, they told me they was going to fix it. Dude.
It's the New York Knicks.
You trust the Knicks? You've been there. You're the authority on anybody that was coming to that Knick regime. You're the authority before Phil was there and after Phil was there to tell them, dog, this shit doesn't work. And you telling me, a motherfucker telling you we gonna do different, and you gonna believe that shit when, again, being a player to take control of your destiny, his destiny was he wanted to get paid. And also he probably wanted to make sure he got paid because he know Lala was sooner or later gonna take half.
Well, Lala was talking about, back then, she's talking about she wanted to stay in New York, whatever.
And this is the weird thing, the mess up thing about it for me is if money is your main thing, if getting paid was your main thing, you got to deal with the consequences now.
Facts.
Like, this is the consequence of your decisions. LeBron made the winning decision. Wade made the winning decision. Bosh made the winning decisions. You made the money one. You got to be cool with that. Whatever comes with that. In a cap sport, if you take the bulk of your team's money and how you act as a teammate, the results are the results.
Ryan, can you look up the total earnings of Carmelo Anthony? Now, I tweeted out from First Take, I said that no one should be surprised about what he said about the Bulls. And our big bro, Lawrence Holmes, who Tony is executive producer of the Lawrence Holmes Show, you can listen to on The Score from noon to 2. He said, after my tweet, I said, no Chicago Bulls fans should be surprised by this, not one. Lawrence tweeted at me, I didn't report this at the time, but a couple of people in his circle reached out to me and said he really, in all caps, was surprised by the Bulls and wanted to sign. I figured it was leverage. He also replied to another one of my tweets, said one of his people was with him on the visit. They did think the Derrick stuff was weird though. So this is from Lawrence basically saying, like, okay, it seems as if he wanted to sign here, but something within the front office turned him off. He was kind of surprised about it, and that's why he.
Remember, Derek didn't show up.
That's why, Derek didn't
He
show
was
up at all.
practicing in the facility, but chose
didn't go upstairs,
not
right?
to go into the meeting.
That's
Right.
called show
It was
up.
Joe King.
Yeah, that's called show up.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying it makes it weirder. Like it'd be different
what-
if he was
that's
like
the
in
point.
L.A. But
Joe
he was
Joe
in
went
the
up.
building.
Didn't Joe
and he
go up
didn't
there?
Go to the meeting.
Didn't Joe go up
But
there?
wait,
Joe and Taj, right?
That's what I
Yeah,
said.
Taj was there.
Yeah, no.
I said Derek didn't show up. I
Yeah.
was saying he didn't show up.
Yeah, no. Well, we
To
have
the meeting.
dive
To
into
the meeting.
the details.
He doesn't show up to the
how
meeting. He also
weird it
didn't show up
is.
to a dinner either.
Yeah.
He was
that's
at the Birdo practicing,
was
and
at-
then he just
right.
left.
But
And
that
then
was-
Carmelo
but-
was doing
but-
his
City.
tour.
But remember, that's when Derek was like, "I don't recruit. Y'all should see what we doing. Just come play."
Regardless, the shit wouldn't have worked. Like I'm not
On the
about
Bulls?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Really?
a finals team.
Oh, good for joke.
No, for
No,
real.
I think
That's
would
a
have made
finals
the
team.
I think they would at least been in the conference again.
Oh wait. Do you guys know what hindsight is?
No.
50-50, John
Derek
Gruden.
was hurt.
No.
Derek was just became the same not even the same.
Derek played that season.
He wasn't the same. Not that
I'm not saying he was going to be the
Derek,
same.
Derek wasn't the same. Carmelo got hurt in the beginning of the year in New York.
But that's hindsight. What?
Yeah, I know, right?
What if he doesn't get hurt in Chicago?
His body was going to break down on him. Look at all the miles he had on his body.
We don't know.
Derek was never right. They were never.
If, with Melo, maybe he doesn't.
On top of
Maybe
that,
he doesn't go as hard in
more.
terms of the
Guess
scoring
what?
aspect.
Joe Kim wasn't the same.
Wait a minute,
guy.
isn't that the series they was up 2-0 on somebody and Derek hit that final shot? And
the
that's what,
Cavs series.
that was another series, right? Wasn't that the series they went up 2-0 or something like that?
They had a chance to go 3-1
Or
on the
3-1,
Cavs,
yeah.
but then they quit.
that was that season. That was the season that Melo would have been
like
here.
You said, that was the year that Derek was like, Jimmy, you go do it. You probably would have had to let Taj go.
that was the thing that the Bulls were fighting for, keeping Taj there, so that's why they wanted Carmelo.
And Money Melo was going to get his money, right?
Money.
Then
Which he did.
You have we didn't even
pay
say,
him under the
you
table.
have the Jimmy Butler emergence situation.
The Bulls went 15-32 that season. Finished second.
Behind who?
I think it had to be Miami, right?
No, Miami probably wasn't the number one
How was
seed.
it Miami if LeBron left?
I'm pretty
Probably
sure
the Raptors.
I thought Cleveland was the home team in that series against the Bulls, so they would have had to been a higher seed.
They lost in the semifinals to LeBron.
Yeah, which they always did.
And I'm pretty sure that was a home series for Cleveland, so they must have been the higher seed.
Wait, hold on. That wasn't the first round that they lost to Cleveland in that?
No. That
No,
was
no.
second round.
The first
Second
round
round.
they played Milwaukee and they
Second
beat them.
round. Yeah, second
beat
round.
That's why it was so. If the Bulls didn't quit and beat LeBron by himself,
Exactly.
they would have had a shot.
They would have had a shot.
At what?
Getting to the finals.
Getting their ass kicked by Golden State?
Even if they
Sure.
would have went to the finals,
But
they
we
got to
didn't
Golden
know
State.
Golden State then.
What matter of fact, who did the Cavs?
We didn't know Golden State
Who did the
then,
Cavs play in the conference finals?
Tony, what
I
year
think they
was that?
played Atlanta and they just whomped them. I think it was a 4-game sweep.
Tony, what year was that? 2000 what?
By the way,
2014,
I have the
2015.
total earnings for Carmelo
That
Anthony.
was the Warriors' first championship.
Thank you, Ryan. What you got for us?
$246 million to be exact. 246, 781, 142,
Hey, man, listen.
and 1.05 came from the Bulls.
There you go. Listen,
Man, this series was close, man.
if
Other than that game that they gave up,
They quit. That one game they
this was
quit.
close. I'm looking at these totals. This game was close.
Kyrie was out. Kevin Love was already done after the Boston series. It was right there, and
They
they
coulda
quit
did
in
it
that
with
second
Melo.
half.
They might have could have did it with Melo.
they would have got to the finals, it would have got to the finals.
All our sports hats the fuck off right now.
How?
Dude.
You think they would have lost to
Dysfunction
Atlanta?
that was already there, and you're adding Melo and Lala to the shit. All right?
Melo and Lala.
And Lala.
We already had an issue with Derrick Rose and Jimmy and Joe Kim. You're adding Carmelo to that shit. Thibs has lost his power because he's a lame duck coach. I'm not saying that they couldn't have had some success, but to think it wasn't worth it. Fuck all that shit after Derrick Rose blew his ACL, to be honest with you. Fuck it all. It's a pipe dream. Adding anything to it is a waste of time. Once he blew his ACL, the shit was a done dilly.
Yeah, but at the time, you couldn't be like, oh, we're done
But
with
the time,
Derek.
listen, for even people that made me mad to be arguing with Melo because it was like, you didn't take that. It was a difference between a $125 deal and a $75 million deal. It may have been higher than that, actually, because I felt like he left 75 on the table. But so that for the Bulls to even think they was in it and a player was going to settle for that degree of a pay cut, Like players will take 20 less. No one's taking 50 mil, 70 mil less.
It goes back to Tony's point. LeBron James made the sacrifice to win. Not saying that the equal amount of money. You're right about that. But LeBron James made the sacrifice of winning. Dwayne Wade made the sacrifice of winning. Chris Bosh made the sacrifice of winning. Is that your main goal? That is a lot of money.
He wouldn't have won on the Bulls.
That's a lot of. I'm
So,
not. No,
brother,
no. I don't think none of us saying he would have won.
It's all a risk.
paid.
But he was going to win
none of us-
anywhere. He
none
was
of
going
us
to
think
win
the
in New
Bulls would've
York.
won.
To me, the going to the Bulls thing, it was just
There's a shot of winning, though. You had no shot in New York.
It was his best chance.
What
of
were
winning.
they going to do in New York?
It was his
Probably
best
in his career.
It was his best chance of winning. I think that's what we're
I
I
saying.
think there were better places if he really wants to contend. He could have taken himself to if money wasn't going to be an issue.
Who was the option besides the Bulls that year, though?
I'm sure if we
It was.
I feel like the Bulls were the
but
only
were other
It
legitimate
was
teams
Bulls in New
interested?
York, right? It was the Bulls in New York
Bulls then. It wasn't. He had what's
with a
his-
contender.
He had visits with other people.
With a contender.
I think Houston was one of them, actually.
he said for
the
years
time.
that Houston was
Said
trying to get
5
down
years
there.
they've been trying to get.
You're trying to get him.
So clearly, wouldn't Houston? Be
And
better?
Houston lost to the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals that year.
Wouldn't Houston have been a better option? I could say that one person is always pined for.
Well, the problem
is
with-
Dame Lillard. Wouldn't Portland, especially when he was still decent, who we've always said needs.
We
a
don't know
ring
if
player.
Portland would have been was an option. Though.
Portland
At the
has
time,
wanted
too,
him.
At the time, too, it was looked at as the
No, at
East
that
was
time.
you only have to get over LeBron. In the West, it was you got to get over everybody. So are you really going to go to Houston and fight that gauntlet? And he already did it. He already did in the West trying to do the gauntlet.
I'll give you that.
Lakers were an option, but this was the
didn't
bad
count.
Lakers. Miami was an option. Right after LeBron left.
This is like, yeah, what's that?
Dallas.
Ride the banana boat alone in
Dallas.
Miami.
Chicago was his best. I think the biggest point, Chicago was his best option to contend for a championship. No one thinks now they can hindsight for real the dynasty that the Golden State Warriors turned out to be. They probably wouldn't have beat them,
wasted
no
the
doubt.
Bulls.
Yeah, they probably would have got swept by the Golden State Warriors. Who knows, right? But it was his best option at that particular time.
When have
To
we
go back to
seen-
the Knicks.
Okay.
If we talking about winning,
When have we
money wise,
seen-
I agree with you.
Still,
Take the money.
When have we seen Carmelo? Now we've had two different scenarios where he went to a team that had two stars who was legitimately ahead of him. As he said, Steven Adams was ahead of him. He was the fourth.
He was the fourth option.
All right,
He
but
did say
still.
that. Yes.
So we've seen him not fit. And this is when his ego was still big.
Yeah,
And Jimmy
yeah.
Butler asserting himself, and we think that shit was going to work.
Oh, listen, I agree with you that I think it would have been a combustible atmosphere, right? But I think the only thing we're saying is it was his best option to contend for a championship. That's it. Do we think we're gonna win? Probably not. It could have imploded from the fucking Christmas Day. Who knows? But it was his best option because he went back to New York. Everybody was like, everybody had to be thinking, you have no shot at winning New York. You have a better shot in Chicago. That was it.
He really only had two options of winning. One was forcing that trade, and he shouldn't have done that.
That was his best option.
That was his best option to winning.
And he messed that up. And then the Bulls. Other than that, he's got no other option.
Well, you could say 3 if he would have.
But
if he would have been, but that's to be a
if he would
star.
have signed
That's
the
to
3
be a
year,
star.
if he would have taken signed. See, this is the thing, dude.
He
This is the
took, that,
problem.
he took that extension with he was supposed to time out in free agency,
Yeah.
the same as Wade, LeBron.
And LeBron told
And they
him,
told him
take
go
the
to
3
free
options.
agency.
Yes.
And as soon as Denver offered him that extension,
he took it.
I'm gonna call bullshit one last time.
What's up?
When he said that about the leaving money thing, those deals they signed were longer deals. The option hit at the 3rd year. I don't know if there were 4-year deals, but that Cleveland deal, that wasn't LeBron's. That was the end of that contract. That was LeBron's opt-out year, so he could opt out and get more money. In common sense, Carmelo should have had that in his contract, regardless if he was going to opt out anyway. But even more to opt out, so he could recoup more money. So when he says like, "I got to take those 5 years," you still have the length.
You could have got the option.
Yeah, you still have the length of the 5 years. You just put the option in the
middle.
3rd year.
Yeah.
So that's just more BS.
100%
When he's saying
agree with
that,
that
you can sit there and be like, y'all keep saying this. You know what? Hey, tell him to add an option, Eddie. Put that option up in there. That's it.
Especially when they were
I
going to give
agree
you
with
whatever
you.
contract you wanted.
Yeah.
I agree with you. And LeBron told him to do that, but he said, "Listen, man, I ain't leaving that much money on the table." And
I
to
think he
him,
knew that we was going to get legal in Denver. He was like, I ain't going no.
that's very possible.
Allah, you know what the fuck I'm talking about? Hit this shit.
We go to New York. No,
I'm thinking of that first banana boat ride after the championship where they all got their rings and then Chris Paul and Carmelo just
Melo.
looking like,
but I will.
Man,
say,
I should've taken that
say this.
extension.
I will say this. I'm just speculating here. He has to now sit back and think like, "Damn, what did I do?"
It's hurting more. I think it's
What
hurting
did
him more
I
now than he
do?
thought it would.
well, because he sees LeBron
And
doing
Wade
it.
getting-
I mean, Dwayne Wade, at least he left around somewhat the same time, but he thought he was going to go toe to toe with LeBron for like his career when he came.
That's his own fault, not taking care of his body as well as LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, they're friends, but it's like when it comes down to it, it's still competitive.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
no
yeah.
doubt.
Like, and Carmelo didn't keep his body in check. He didn't keep his weight,
Nope.
in check until he stopped doing them steroids.
Hey man, what?
Allegedly.
That's just he's playing. He's playing.
Oh, I'm about to say what is going on right here?
Those words.
Would it shock you with Carmelo?
What did you say?
Would it shock you with Carmelo?
Absolutely.
You don't remember that offseason where LeBron
Absolutely.
and Melo cut all that weight?
Yeah, they went paleo, basically. That's what they said.
And I'm like,
You think the steroids gonna lose your weight?
You talking about Roy to Kobe times?
Now Kobe came back. He came back diesel.
He came back bare bonds like,
My goodness.
damn, Brady Anderson.
Hey, listen. People say the same thing about Michael Jordan. He came back that year after that. Like, damn, well, you
All right,
sick.
careful, D, careful.
I'm just saying though.
how does as we wrap this up, how do we view Melo's career?
He's a Hall of Famer.
I think you put it, Tony. He's a Hall of Famer, but what a
Yeah.
disappointment. I
Yeah.
mean, you look. I like when you see 3-time Olympic champion because they can't fill it in with anything else because he didn't do anything.
Does he have the most Olympic medals?
Who cares?
Yeah.
No.
He's
It's
our
question,
greatest.
question,
He's
question.
our greatest basketball international champion.
He has the most Olympic medals,
and did
right?
he win them all with LeBron?
No.
No. The
Not the
last
first
one,
one?
LeBron didn't
He wasn't
go.
in.
Okay.
He might
That's
be.
most vets at that age shouldn't.
And I think
Man,
they,
I gotta go get this chain.
My only title. I gotta go get it.
and I think the
For
Olympic,
America, baby.
didn't Olympic the committee
They made
say
a
that
joke out of
they
it.
say that he can't come back and play again or something like that? Is that
Well, they didn't invite him.
they didn't invite him? That's what it was.
Yeah, they didn't invite him.
But
Remember
they
they made
had
I think, was that a McDonald's commercial or the Foot Locker commercial where they were going back and forth like, Melo, you didn't do nothing. Yeah, and then he was like, what? Internet gold medals? That's not nothing. Wow. You got to watch that commercial. It's a funny. Y'all, when y'all see it, y'all remember. It was funny.
Damn.
I think I vaguely remember it.
Well, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer that scored a lot of points. Had a
Bro,
pro.
they're not winning hurts him.
Yeah, but didn't win in the
One of
championship.
the best NBA 2K players to play
But
with.
see, the not winning hurts even more in this era of basketball where players have more freedom.
They're putting the premium on the winning too.
So, but even taking like in the past, somebody like a Dominique Wilkins. Dominique Wilkins spent the majority of his career until he was 33, I believe, in Atlanta. Like
yeah.
maybe the season after the season he came back from Achilles surgery. So when they traded him for Danny Manning, they were moving out an older player, even though Danny Manning had issues with his legs. He was younger, so they thought they were getting more of a value. So he's compared to me to Neek, even though I think Neek is even a better scorer than Melo, just because he's such a freaky ass athlete. But Neek was caught in Atlanta. He couldn't just move around there.
Right.
And then by the time he could move around, he was older. So he was going to be like the third option, really, even though he could score. Like, because I remember when he got to the Celtics, Larry Bird, who wasn't there anymore, was like, he's not a Celtic. Like, he was like, he shouldn't be in the green. Like, that dude, that type of scoring, we don't
Did
like.
you see him dunk on me that one time?
Exactly.
He should not be in
So
here.
it's even worse.
Come on, Red.
With Melo, because Melo could sit there and have chosen and elected to do ways to inorganically build a team. All right, kind of what David Griffin said about LeBron in Cleveland in an inorganic manner. He's had the leverage in this newer NBA.
He had the power. Yeah.
But this, I will say though,
didn't
Ken,
use it.
He didn't
but
even
Ken,
care
but
for
I
that.
will say this though. This is at the start of that.
I mean, but I'm talking about the duration though. Dog, we see somebody.
But he
your
signed-
best
he signed-
friend
but he
is the
signed
one
that-
championing
Think
it.
But he
saying
signed that deal though.
The
He
Knicks
was
have been
there.
the Knicks have been trying to move him
For a
2
minute.
years.
Yeah, for a
It was
minute.
like he just don't want to go. For real.
Don't you see these hats I got?
He just didn't
You see
want to
these
go.
hats,
We're saying since LeBron and them got together, which is what 12 years ago, maybe now.
Mm-hmm.
It was 2008, 2009. When did they get together?
So it's 11 years
It was
ago.
8 or 9.
Yeah.
If it was 2008, it was 11. It was 11 years ago.
Yeah.
So 11 years ago, for the last 11 years, he's had more power. We saw a dude walk up to his management and tell them, hey, I just want to go, and they traded him. And on top of that, they want to get rid of him in New York. And you're telling me he didn't have power? This motherfucker he told us, I want to do it in New York. At one point, he knew it wasn't going to happen, and he was satisfied with being in the media capital of the world, and he thought that value was higher without winning.
It's a fedoras.
If he would have, let's see, if he would have brought a championship to them.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The reckless talk.
Wait. Did he? How many times did he get to the playoffs with him?
Twice?
Yeah,
maybe?
Maybe
I think.
twice.
Maybe twice.
I think twice.
Oh,
Plus, the other thing with what you're saying, the 11-year, who's the one that championed this movement? LeBron James,
His
who
best
you're
friend.
training with.
His
Your
best
best friend
friend.
that you're always with, around all the time.
but he didn't listen to him the
Talking,
first time.
discussing.
Melo is the new Charles Barkley.
No.
No. In terms of
What do you mean?
In terms of when people
Wait a minute. Hold on.
in this generation, guys have been scared of being called out for it. You didn't win a championship, so you don't know. Carmelo now is going to be that guy that the
But
younger
Barkley
guys
never
point to.
cared though. Barkley never cared if you called him out for championship.
That's fine, but what's the one insult that they always hurl at him?
Yeah, but Barkley doesn't give a shit about that.
That's fine, but they always do it.
The title.
You think he care about
Oh,
it?
yeah.
No. I'm talking about what people say to him. I think he definitely cares about himself.
Sometimes like a
But Carmelo's going to be the guy that they point to now.
as a younger person, can you do me a favor with the younger generation? And this is something I want it crossed my mind. I get tired of people saying, for instance, that Barkley, Clyde Drexler, and Olajuwon were a super team, or even if you throw Pippen in there. We've always seen, because it makes me, when people say that, I'm like, you talking about super team, what about Barkley and them? Do you guys remember the Washington football team when Daniel Snyder first bought that team?
Yeah.
He brought in Emmitt Smith. He bought in not Emmitt Smith. He bought in what's the name Smith from Buffalo?
Bruce Smith.
He bought in Deion Sanders. I can't remember 3 or 4 other old time players that they
Was
had
Woodson?
they had a litany of he brought in, and if you looked at the names on there, you would think they had the whip. It was trash.
They were old.
But that's the point that I'm making. And so for instance, again, when you're using the Barkley thing, it's without context, because one knock on Melo, he's never made it to the finals. Barkley played his ass off.
He sure did.
In the finals that he made.
93.
Barkley tried to be in winning situations twice. When he left Philadelphia, he went to Phoenix, and then when he left Phoenix to go be with Olajuwon, but Olajuwon and him were too old. But so when we're talking about Melo, Barkley did everything he could try to do. He ran into Michael Jordan. A lot of motherfuckers, like, he tried to win.
He even told his daughter, like, "Hey, listen, baby, I just can't beat him."
Yeah, and that's after they both went out and scored 40 in the finals game.
Like, I just can't beat him.
In a triple overtime or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, dude, so when we say, like, we have to know the context of the things that we're saying and not just look. So I get what I'm not saying to you. I'm saying, but you have to be the person to provide this, being the younger person here.
No.
When people say those, because it's not the same there. I know you're trying to say just a guy without a championship, but the context of we're talking about Melo isn't just a guy without a championship. It's what you did or did not do to try to get that championship. So that can't be lumped into Barkley.
Agreed. But the context doesn't matter because the result was
The same.
He didn't win a championship. That's all my point is. We can have that. We know the history of what Charles was doing and what he tried to do to win the championship, and he wanted to win a championship. But the results, why do you think these guys are pairing up with themselves to almost ensure that they win at least one? Because the ending result is
have a good chance.
I can't leave here without winning one.
Do you know how successful Charles Barkley, fucking Reggie Miller, and they still better?
Patrick Ewing.
Yeah, like, dude, that narrative. That's the crazy thing. Us people that grew up watching them don't feel like that about them.
No, I'm fine with them.
Like
I'm
us
fine
people
with
that, like us people that
Current players, they feel the pressure.
because they didn't grow up. Wait a minute,
who did you say?
I said current players, they feel the
But
pressure.
see, also, when you say it's pressure, we're making an excuse for being making shortcuts too. Like, because I'm like, man, there was a lot of pressure. Like, a lot of people be like, man, why'd you shoot that man? I'd be like, peer pressure. It's like, right? Lying like, because I'm a murderous motherfucker. Like, people use excuses. So that's an excuse because people don't want to do shit the hard way. It's in people's instincts not to go hard like that. And so when players can be like, man, I don't want to know. Dude, them players is hella successful. Us that grew up in that generation, dog, I think it's unfair Michael Jordan was taking all these titles from these motherfuckers. When you run up against, even for instance, LeBron James, he may not have won the titles, but he stopped a whole litany of players even being able to say they made it to the fucking finals. Like, just like
Derrick
with the
Rose.
Bulls. Once the Bulls got
Not
to the
Dwight
finals,
Howard, though.
they was blocked from getting to the finals. Once you had the greatest player at that time in that slot and he figured it out, you wasn't getting there. So how am I going to be like, you could, if a dude is weak, and I hate to put this on a player, if it's a situation like DeMar DeRozan where you've mentally seen times where he was weak, yes, you can sit there and castigate that person for not having what you would think they should have in that situation, not dissing him by any means. But if we're talking about someone gave it their all and their team just wasn't as good, or that dude, even if my team may have been better, but y'all got super over there, shit happens. LeBron has done it.
I 100% agree with everything you said, Ken. But the further we get away from it, the blurrier the context gets, and then only history remembers the winner.
And that's why true. I need you to be the person you have to be the old head. That's just, I mean, I can't. You got to be the old head. T. Yes, you can. You got the mic.
But I'm also, that would mean I'm also fighting human tendencies. People are going to. I'm not going to be on every major television show. They're going to debate who was the greatest, and they're going to be like, well, he didn't win. And I'm just talking about the realities of human nature and how it's going to go.
I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that. But we can still place a value on who went out like Spartans and who went out like bitches. For real. No, some people went out like bitches. And we can't. So, and that means that's even people that won titles went out like bitches. So that's where I'm saying, like, let's not totally blur the lines like
that's that. Why I have so much love when you think he's not a Hall of Famer for Reggie Miller. Reggie Miller gave his all to the Pacers. He gave his all. He tried to beat Michael Jordan. He tried to beat Michael Jordan so many times, even tried to rake his eyes one time I saw on TV. But he just couldn't do it. It's just, I look at those guys like, damn, they gave they all. They just couldn't beat the GOAT. That's it. And there's nothing wrong with that. At least they tried. We just went over about probably well over 30 minutes talking about a guy who had an opportunity to flex his muscle at the beginning of the new age super era of super teams, and he chose to take the money. Not saying that he shouldn't, because he was over $200 million, and say half of that going to Uncle Sam. But he made his money, and he did that. But he had a shot. I have no problem with none of those older cats saying, like, man, listen, at least I went out like a G. I went out like a G. This cat got a lot of questions about. All right, hey, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at DN Davis Show. Once again, it's at DN Davis Show. We're on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Music, Stitcher, the TuneIn app. We're on Anchor, which gets you to Spotify and YouTube. All right, so that's a podcast, DN Davis Show and DN Davis The Flip. Subscribe, rate, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right. I'm on Twitter at Demons1. Ken's on Twitter at That's Davis. Ryan's on Twitter at Ryan B. Ski. And Tony's on Twitter at Tony670.
Make sure you
Tony
check out
Tony Gill.
Make sure you check out Dan Davis The Show. Please continue to listen to Dan Davis The Flip. Make sure you listen to the newest episode of No Zones, and also make sure you check out the Lawrence Holmes Show with TEPN. It's probably the greatest show in Chicago right now.
Yes, it is right now.
So enjoy that, and don't do anything stupid before you hear from us again.
Keep your hands to yourself.
The Flip.